and the ancestors are looking out for us. God Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the Pope chair under. Scroll down, look at the Pope chair under.
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young.
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Flown lesson. Peace.
Young
Be unto you.
TV.
Hit that like.
Hey, Robert. Hey, I think your you want to? Oh yeah, you go right there. Hey y'all, man, we got some devastating evidence tonight, man. You know, it's not on our devastating for us. It's devastating for all the lies. The lies just, man, it just make your flesh crawl once you just go and find out the truth and then figure out how did they get away with that type of lie? Like that, how did that lie even? But we gonna put it together tonight, man. I got Chief on. We got some clips. We got some slides, man. We up for another one. This another one, man. The famous words of DJ Khaled, man. We the best. You want to say anything, Chief, before we get this thing cracking?
Let's I don't got nothing to lead with.
Hey,
So
public notice.
let's get into it. Well, you know, anything we do is public notice, notice the agent, notice the principal, you know, for the redemption of the people of the land. So that's automatic without saying. And all social media platforms are valid destinations for public notices with a time-stamped archivable format with a reach above 1,000 people. They all qualify: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, MySpace. No matter where you at on social media, it's a time-stamped archivable format, and it has a reach of over 1,000 people. And we know notice the agent, notice the principal, so they are notified anytime we broadcast, even if we don't say it.
That's right.
Following the
peace and
oral
love
tradition of
to
the
all
tribes
the-
of the land.
Go ahead.
I said,
yeah,
following
peace and love.
following the oral tradition of the tribes of the land, they have to abide by what we put out in the public domain.
That's right. And peace and love to all the empresses and the matriarch on the land, because this is a part of restoring the memory. This class is going to activate certain parts of your DNA, of your memory, of who you really are and how powerful you were before this Rockefeller era. That's what I'm starting to figure out. It's the Rockefeller era that did it, that really stuck it to us. All right, Ross, so you want me to, hey, so I think if I get into the clips first, that'll lead us into the slides, because some of the clips are going to bring us to some of the slides. Now, we got some interesting slides here. Let's roll some of these slides, man, and see what we got, man. There's some interesting stuff here.
Why is the government lying to us about history? There is a civilization as recent as 100 years ago that was omitted from the history books called the Tartarian Empire. and it was technologically far superior. They were able to convert atmospheric pressure into electricity, and as a result of unlimited free energy, they were able to direct their focus towards unity, oneness, peace, love, and harmony, which we don't see in today's society as there is no profit for evil people in times of peace. Tartaria was a country with its own government, its own flag, and its own place on the map. Its territory was huge, covering over 3 million square miles, and if you look back far enough, the country exists on maps predating the 19th century. The Great Wall of China, which is located on China's northern border, is believed to have been built by the Tartarians, although history would say otherwise. There are openings on the wall that are only accessible from the north face of the wall, or from Tartaria. The world government destroyed an entire utopia and kept it hidden because they don't want humanity knowing that there is sustainability in the collective without the interference of heads of state.
Not only did they erase Tartaria, 1776 was the year everything changed.
I want to, before I forget about the first question, it's on the first one. Now, on the first one, when you, I don't know if you've seen that part, and I got the document too in the slides about the CIA, how all this stuff come out. Somebody found out about it, whistleblower. Is the CIA had a document that came out in 1957 talking about our civilization in America and abroad in Asia. And we had ancient technology, and about we had levitation, all kind of stuff they listed in that document. And they said that the CIA was partially responsible for keeping this quiet and covering it up. He just read he was reading out of the document in that clip I just read. So what are your take? Why would the CIA be involved in covering the like ancient technology that we had over here prior to 1492?
But when you look at the sheer number of people you have to control, you can't micromanage everybody. Mass control is done through the control and the flow of how information is given and how the implied perception of that information is to be received by the person you trying to control. Right? We talking about Tartaria, but it's actually ancient Tartarus. Now remember, they demonize everything that was prior to the current cycle, because they don't want you looking at the old cycles. They only want you to look at the one where they can control the narrative, which is the current, the now cycle, right? So they control you day by day, step by step, barrier by barrier. It's like, you ever seen the corrals on the cow farm that can funnel the cows down into the bath or funnel them into the barn?
That's right.
They don't use physical barriers. They use psychological barriers. And the psychological barriers is not predicated up on the individual psychology, but the group psychology. Right? So this is what they call groupthink. Right? It's part of a dystopia society, and they want to heal the dystopia society. So they want to disrupt the group think by controlling what the group think. So you have to control the flow of information. They keep bringing up Tartarians in Tartaria, but it's not what people think it is in the terms that they given it. They talking about what we would say prehistoric or antediluvian people. Right. The reason all that stuff was because of warfare. Everything was covered up with the mud.
That's right.
The nuclear winter that gave us an artificial ice age that created the sediments that concealed what was under the ground.
Right.
Right. So after the nuclear winter, we have the thaw. We have to go back into a sun cycle to balance out the frequency. The only way to come into a sun cycle is you have to have a golden age. The golden age has to always follow a harsher metal like an iron age.
Mm-hmm.
So we go into the golden age, but the only way you can go to a golden age is mass awareness of the entry into the golden age before it's in full swing.
Right, it makes
You
sense.
have to reach critical mass on the 100 monkey effect.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people, the 100 monkey effect need more people thinking about moving into the next shift in order to break free from the ancient paradigm or the old paradigm, the one we already used up yesterday, in order to turn tomorrow into today. Right? So we ain't built tomorrow yet. That's why we ain't got there yet. That's why we live in today. We already lived yesterday. We used that shit up. Now the only thing it can serve for is a mirror. So you'll know what to do and what not to do. Or as the women would say, she'll know how to put her eyeliner on straight by looking in the mirror.
Right, makes sense.
Right. So we hear the term, we got to realize that it's a generalization sprung from a concept of a specific geography on the planet.
Right.
We have to also be aware of the fact that they flipped the maps. All of the maps are upside down. What we thinking the Earth is look like is upside down from that.
That's what they saying that was to tear this landmass right here.
That's Pangea.
Yeah.
All lands connected. Right? So what came first, Pangea or Tartarian?
Right.
Right? Because the Tartaria happened after Pangea split, it's been long gone.
Yeah, you're right, Rod.
Yeah.
The name, what we getting at is the technology that these people had in the 1900s.
Right. Okay, so how did we get to using the term Tartaria to refer to this ancient architecture and this ancient technology they used to develop this architecture?
Right.
The reason why is because we got the receipts. I don't know if he was able to download them, but Tartaria was in reference to a specific geography and a specific group of people that had higher technology in construction in a specific area. It's like the word for knockout came, I'm a Tyson your ass.
Yeah.
Right? So it became a colloquial term for all ancient advanced civilizations based on a current civilization that's been around since ancient times.
Right.
Right? So when you look at places that was here, like Angkor Wat, that who built it? It don't matter who built it. Read the architecture. There's a message in it.
Go ahead.
Right? So they got this guy named Fucanelli, and he's what you call an architectural mystic.
Mm-hmm.
And this is his field of study, is to read the architecture and design in the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. When you look at the top of that building right there, those are mammary glands.
Man, go ahead, bro. You telling me? Let me write this down.
Them titties and nipples.
Go ahead.
Right? That was from the matriarchy. That's why it's a prominent structure in Islam, is because they adopted it from the matriarchs.
Doc said all what you said. All what you're saying, Doc.
Right. The patriarch symbol is what we call the obelisk,
mm-hmm.
which represents the phallus of the father.
Mm-hmm.
But if he don't have a Vesica Pisces at the bottom of it, then the father is gone rogue. The Vesica Pisces is the potent penetration of the father into the mother in order to produce the next. Symbolism.
Mm.
Right? So they have these things. The minaret is the phallus symbol. The long, tall building they call the dying front. right? So it's a phallus song, which tells you that it was patriarchy that's calling you to prayer. But he ain't telling you that he's usurping the matriarchy. When you choose Allah over Allah, that means that you don't know your history and you don't know what your language was doing over the years.
A lot of the architect got feminine structures. I have to write that
Especially
down.
when you
Now
start
let's get
talking
into some.
when you start talking about ancient architecture, it's a lot of feminine qualities to the art.
Divine feminine.
A lot of the art was done by women until patriarchy banned them from doing it. This is all historical records around the world. You got to remember, India is the oldest continuous uncivilized, unaltered colonized people. They've had the same culture in India for about 60,000 straight years.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, now remember, before first dynastic Kemet, the pyramids was already there. Let that sink in. Before the first dynasty rose in Egypt, the pyramids was already ancient. Then we thinking the first dynasty is ancient history, right? When we get into this, there's a subsection called prehistory in the historical record of academia. When you start studying prehistory, you start saying, wait a minute, the narrative they gave us under Darwinism was that we was in caves around fires and crawled out the caves and built civilization over this many years.
Right.
But how can you have a prehistory with all of these intricately designed structures if the history is correct? Because according to them, the human species is 6,000 years old.
Yeah.
Right?
A species.
That don't even make sense based on their literature they produced, because Abraham was supposed to be approximately 4,200 BC.
Right.
And that would make us Abraham 6,000 years from us. So if people only 6,000 years old, wait a minute. Who was before Abraham? How long was it between Abraham and Adam?
He had a mother.
Now remember, in the books, the first books, when they talk about Adam and Eve was living 1,000 years. How old was Methuselah?
Go ahead.
Right? They was old ancient ones. So then Abraham come along after the 120-year cap is put on, the telomere stripped back to only last 120 years. This was a carryover from the Anunnaki tablets.
Yeah, and live.
Because he wanted to limit the lifespan of man, so he couldn't live long enough to think on the level of the ancient gods.
I'm starting to believe that's who did this, bro. I'm believing. Go ahead. I'm starting to believe that they reset us, that Enlil reset us recently, like in the 1900s.
We went through a lot of stuff. They use the medical field to break our genetics down and cause us to acquire illnesses. A lot of the stuff that they tell us that, like, oh, this mummy, he died from this one, that. They didn't. They didn't. Because back then, we didn't get sick like that.
Yeah, none of
with cancer.
That's right.
Cancer is new. Cancer not even 200 years old. Let that sink in. Where it come from then?
Probably eat meat.
When you go back to the Nobel Prize winning Otto von Bismarck, who won the Nobel Peace Prize for finding the cause and the cure for all types of cancer in 1932. Right, the Otto von Warburg, that's his name. Otto von Bismarck was the founder of the Second Reich. Anyway, so we start getting sick in the 1900s because we didn't even need doctors. We had medicine men and herbalists, and we go through age-related stuff. We go to the herbalist, he give us a dietary fix to the problem, and we don't have a problem no more. And we go on about smoking our cigarettes from 5 to 105 with no cancer, no lung cancer. All of a sudden now you catch a lung. It's not the cigarettes. It's the chemicals they putting on the cigarettes that's causing the cancer.
Cigarettes, yeah. They putting 4,000 chemicals.
And remember, one of the chemicals they use to dust the tobacco crops is the strain of uranium. What's uranium used for? To make atomic bombs.
Right.
It's reactive, nuclear reactive. So it's putting radiation on the plant. Then they got certain isotopes they put on the plant. Wait, why you got to break down stuff to isotopes to put on the plant? Right? Well, we use the natural earth. Go out, harvest the tobacco leaves, and we chop the stalks up to be fertilizer for the next season. Probably throw a little cow dung or bison dung over in there, just to enrich the soil. And after a short period of time, it'll all come up green again. Till the soil, plant the tobacco, do it all over again. They don't do that no more. 1932, Senate Select Committee declared that all of the land was nutritionally depleted from excessive farming.
Oh, crap.
So they already knew. Then they declared that because of the lack of nutrients in the soil, it would require the future generations to need to supplement the nutritional value through vitamins and supplementation and mineral supplementation.
Hey, I gotta play these next clips. Now I'm gonna play 2 clips back to back, and then I got a couple questions, and I got a question to go with something you just asked. But I'm writing everything down. That's why I'm glad I got this notepad when I'm on with you. I'm glad I got this notepad, right? Hey, so yeah, let me go ahead and play these next 2 clips. Then I'm gonna ask these questions, and then the questions that I got for these next 2 clips.
Roll the corn.
Not only did they erase Tartaria, 1776 was the year everything changed. In 1776, the Illuminati was founded in Bavaria. The Rothschild banking empire began its global expansion. The American Revolution broke out. Tartaria began to disappear from the maps, all in the same year. Coincidence? Tartaria was not a myth. It was a vast, ancient civilization with advanced free energy technology, great architecture using sacred geometry, a harmonious way to live with natural law, knowledge of the ether. They buried Tartaria, literally, with mud floods, natural disasters, and a new history. Once they buried the old world, they created the new one. Central banks, slavery by debt, maritime law, artificial scarcity, indoctrination through education, all funded by the same families. The Rothschilds didn't just fund empires, they funded restarts and deleted everything that didn't serve the system of control. Tartaria was way too free, way too advanced, way too powerful. So they turned everything upside down. Free energy became fossil fuel. The truth became a conspiracy. The spirit became religion. Nature has become a resource. Freedom became an illusion.
Well, how long did the original Yankee Stadium take to construct?
The original Yankee Stadium took approximately 284 days to
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Did you say days? Did you say this took say that again for the people in the back?
The original Yankee Stadium took 284 days to construct, from May 1922 to April 1923. That's less than 10 months.
Yeah, it is. You want to do an estimate of the materials for this as far as the granite, the limestone, marble, and iron is concerned? Please include the subfloors as well.
Yankee Stadium's material breakdown: granite, 300,000 cubic feet.
And please make sure you're considering the underground levels as well, and connected to the tunnel systems that were so important to build.
Considering underground levels and tunnel systems, Yankee Stadium's total material estimate increases: granite, 400,000 cubic feet; limestone, 300,000 cubic feet; marble, 100,000 square feet; iron/steel, 15,000 tons; concrete, 500,000 square feet. Total estimated weight, approximately 750,000 tons.
So what's the total weight of construction materials?
Approximately 750,000 tons of construction materials were used to build Yankee Stadium, including underground levels and tunnel systems.
That's incredible that all that material got there with horses and donkeys.
Indeed. Most materials were transported by horse-drawn carriages and wagons, while some heavier items came by rail.
And muddy roads, and you said that they constructed this in under a year, huh?
Yes, Yankee Stadium was built in under a year, from May 1922 to April 1923.
How many tons did you say? What was the number of tons of just the material?
Approximately 750,000 tons of construction materials were used to build Yankee Stadium.
That's an awful lot, you know.
Yes, it is.
Let's try and break down just for an estimate, like how many horses, let's say all the materials were 10 miles away, all the materials just 10 miles away. How many times would the horses have to go back and forth? How many horses would be attached to a sled? How many horses would go back, and how long would that take?
Interesting question. Assuming 750,000 tons of materials 10 miles away and 1 ton per horse-drawn sled load, 750,000 loads, 10 miles per trip, 20 miles round trip. 1 to 2 horses per sled, average 375,000 to 750,000 horse trips, 6 to 12 million horse miles, 2,000 to 4,000 days, 6 to 12 years of continuous horse travel, assuming 10 hours/day.
Okay, so we'll say there was 500 horses and the materials were 10 miles away.
With 500 horses, 750,000 loads, and 10 miles per trip, 1,500 trips per horse, 3,750,000 horse miles. 500 horses x 1,500 trips equals 750,000 loads. Assuming 2 trips/day, 375 to 750 days, 1 to 2 years of horse travel.
So it would take 1 to 2 years just to get the stuff there, and this was all built in a year. That seems implausible then, doesn't it, John?
Yes, it seems highly unlikely that Yankee Stadium could have been built in just 1 year. Considering the transportation time alone would take around 1 to 2 years with 500 horses.
All right, so let's do a timeline of how this would get constructed today, modern day, and we already have all the horses, have already brought all of the equipment here today, modern equipment. We're building this. Let's give myself a timeline. Go for it.
Let's see. Here's a modern day construction timeline for Yankee Stadium. 1. Site preparation, 2 months. 2. Foundation excavation, 3 to 6 months. 3. Foundation concrete and rebar, 4 to 6 months. 4. Structural framing, 6 to 9 months. 5. Exterior cladding and glazing, 6 to 9 months. 6. Interior construction, 9 to 12 months. 7. Finishing work, 6 to 9 months. Total estimated construction time, 36 to 60 months, 3 to 5 years.
And that's today with all of our infinite amount of money. No, money's not an object at all, and we can do all this now. It would take that long, opposed to 1 year.
Even with unlimited funds and modern technology, construction would take around 3 to 5 years. In contrast, the original Yankee Stadium was built in approximately 1 year, 1922 to 1923, with limited resources and technology.
And all of the stonework was done by hand with chisels and hammers, you say?
Yes, the original Yankee Stadium's intricate stonework was crafted by skilled laborers using manual tools like chisels, hammers, and hand saws. showcasing exceptional craftsmanship and attention to detail.
I mean, minutes where he breaking down what is just clearly impossible for that stadium to be built in between 1922 to 1923 with all that granite. Where they get all that granite from? And then if you go look it up, it's farther than 10 miles away to get granite to that spot. So pretty much that spot was built before they came over here. So it ain't no telling how it could have been built as a cathedral or as a coliseum before 1492. And I got more. I'm gonna show you, but that's just one. Go ahead, Rod. Go ahead.
You remember the show we did about them turning our castles into prisons?
Yeah, I got some on that too. I got a clip
But
on that too.
it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Why would it be any different?
Right.
Right? They turned our coliseums into sports arenas.
Right.
Right. Now, unlike the Silver Dome, right? People in Pontiac watched the Silver Dome be built from the ground up. Like it was a local tourist attraction to go see the construction of the Silver Dome, so we know what happened.
Right.
Right. The palace. We used to drive past when they was building the palace. You could see the palace under construction.
Right.
Right. Just like now it's gone. It's something entirely different there now where the palace used to be.
Wow.
Right. We've seen that stuff happen. And we've seen how it was done and how long it took.
Yeah.
Right. And it took almost 3 years to build the palace. It took a couple of years to build the Silver Dome.
Yeah.
Right. My uncle worked on the Sears Tower, so we know that was built because I got a family member that was part of the construction crew that was a skywalker. He was walking on them beams that used to be you see in the old black and white movies.
Right.
Right. But that most of Chicago downtown, right, is older than they tell us. Part of Chicago, where we call the downtown Chicago area, the Gold Coast, part of that is under in the lake. Mm-hmm. Everybody in Chicago just know it. It's not even like it's a big deal that we know it. It's like we all know that it's under the lake is part of the downtown Chicago area.
Yeah, I got a clip on that too.
Right. So they had what was called shelves. Mm-hmm. And they blew the shelf in order to sink the city. The same thing they did with St. Bernard Parish. Mm-hmm. By strategically placing explosives, you make a shelf crack away from the water. Mm-hmm. And then it'll sink. Because it's laying on top of water. Mm-hmm. Right? So if you look at Lake Michigan and right off Chicago, part of the city is underwater because of the wars. Mm-hmm. If you go to Louisiana off where St. Bernard Parish is, you will see church steeples sticking out the water.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've been
right. That's because it was a city on the part of the city was on the shelf.
Yeah.
We know that New Orleans is below sea level.
That's right.
Right. And the shelf was one of the land barriers that they had to build dikes to replace once they blew the shelf off because there's nothing to stop the water from coming in. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. So we know that a lot of the stuff they told us in history has been retold under different names and descriptions, but it's still the same. Right? They want us to believe that this land was totally undeveloped, uninhabited. It was nothing but jungle over here and a couple savage half humans that were swinging from trees
with thongs and spears.
Yeah, and nothing can be further from the truth.
Man,
all you got to do is go back to the Pilgrim story. The Pilgrims couldn't survive here
without us.
They was dying.
That's right.
Till some natives came along and fed them. And what these rotten bastards give us back in return? They gave us Black Friday, the Great Massacre.
Dang.
The Pequot Massacre. Caught us eating all that turkey, tryptophan, smoking all them herbs and drinking that alcohol. hardy, dancing around the fire.
Dang.
And then when we all take it in for the night, 2, 3 in the morning. Then they come in 4, 5 in the morning and slaughter us in our sleep. We know what happened. We just got to remember that the people that's in control is not going to never give us the narrative that we need to see what happened to the collective of our people.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, go ahead on.
No, that's what I was gonna say. So we had to already have advanced civil, and I'm gonna play this next clip too. For the shout out Brooklyn, man. Shout out New York, Harlem, everywhere in New York, right? The 5 Barrels, right? Shout out the 5 Barrels, right? But hey, we about to play this next clip for y'all in Brooklyn, man, about the Brooklyn Bridge. This about to get crazy, y'all. Watch this.
Okay, do y'all remember when I told y'all about the Brooklyn Bridge? This structure here that I told you they didn't build, right? Well, when I told you they didn't build this structure, I need y'all to understand. You see this piece right here, and you see all of this? That's what they did. That's what they attached to the structure. This structure here, they did not make, they did not touch, they didn't have anything to do with that structure. I'm going to tell you exactly what this structure was for, and it wasn't for that. And I'm going to tell you how I know they didn't build this bridge is because they discovered a bunker in 2006. Now remember, this bridge was supposedly built in 1900, some 100 years ago, right? They built this bridge. But somehow in 2006, like 100 years later, they're just now finding out that there's a bunker inside. Now, is there a bunker inside of this? There's not a bunker. It's simply a Tartarian structure, and you know this thing, it goes all the way down into the ground, like all the rest of the structures do. But in order to explain that away, they tell you there's a bunker in it. But at the same time, what are they admitting? Y'all didn't build this. You know you didn't build this, because if you did build it, you'd have the blueprints for it, and you wouldn't have had to discover that there's a bunker in something that you built. Let's keep it moving. A Cold War bunker was discovered in Brooklyn Bridge in 2006 during a routine structural inspection. Discovered the bunker while inspecting the bridge's masonry foundations. Y'all ain't even know it was there. If you didn't know it was there, you know damn well you didn't build it. Okay, let's keep it moving, shall we? This is what the bunker looked like. Look, archway, look, archway. Y'all already know. Y'all already know who built this. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'ma have the receipts, like.
Thing, but because he's gonna keep on going right there. But there's another one of the Brooklyn Bridge being there prior to them, and they just discovering that it was a bunker. I mean, well, like a little tunnel, and it might go on. They didn't go down. I don't know if they ain't said nothing about going down there, but you know they sent a team down there to see where it connect to. Right, but it's just another thing where they lie. We catching them in the lies about they saying this was built, and I got more from the road where they say, oh, this was built in a year in Chicago, the World Fair. They said they built the World Fair at Chicago in 1 year, and then they burned it out. It was all plastic, and they burned it down. That's what they told us. That's the lie they gave us. Roy, go ahead.
Yeah, they said a Great Fire was started in Chicago by cow knocking over a lantern, right? So all this stuff they telling us, but the artifacts and the structures is not telling the same story that they telling us. Right. So you had people that had access to materials from the era, right? The hardest books to find right now is the books written in the 1400s. The English don't even look the same.
Right. What?
Do the thing. The O'Leary burn. It started in the O'Leary burn on October 8th, 1871. Factors like the drought conditions, strong winds, and the city's predominantly wooden buildings fueled the fire's rapid and devastating spread, which ultimately destroyed a large part of the city.
Mm-hmm.
While the popular tale claims Mr. O'Leary's car kicked over a lantern, the origin remains a mystery, with other theories include human errors such as gambling disputes in the burn.
Damn. This is what they sold us.
Man, Chicago had brick buildings back then. How you gonna burn them down? You had to repurpose them. You have to repurpose them. Chicago's always been a metropolis to us. The Grand Doula Center for the Great Chiefs was always at Cook County Hospital. We had one in New York, one in California, and what we call the City of Angels, one in Chicago, one in New Orleans, and one in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Each one of them Grand Doula Centers is where they look for the Chiefs to come back.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Raw, you know something else? They said like it's mighty funny that in all these, and I got more clips. They're gonna just break it down, but it's mighty funny that in all of our major cities, some right around the same time during this same little window, the 1920 window, that some mysterious happened, like the this incident right here that we were talking about earlier.
You don't remember we did a whole show on floods and fires?
Yeah, it's called the Organic Wars. Remember that one we did called Organic Wars?
Yeah, but you should put the link in the description to this when you're done.
I put it in there for him.
Don't forget to make the notes so you don't forget.
All right. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. I got you. I thought it was one here where they talked about that.
And you can put the one where we talked about them turning our castles into prisons and mental institutions and state buildings.
Yeah, I got that. This right here, Rod. This was another weird one that I thought that. How did that happen?
Yeah. A large storage tank holding 2.3 million U.S. gallons of molasses burst. A wave of molasses moving at an estimated 35 miles an hour rushed through Boston's north end,
burning the whole damn city down.
It killed 21 people and injured 150, with residents reporting for decades that the area still smelled of molasses on hot summer days.
That's what they do. They pull these events and come to find out that the Rockefellers was tied into this company some kind of way. I looked into it. I looked into it on AI, right? They was tied into this.
Remember the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Bilderbergs, the Morgans, the Oppenheimer. Those are all fronts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the front families. That's right.
They not really the ones pulling the strings behind the scenes. They just the ones allowed to sign the paperwork.
That's right.
They've been commissioned to sign paperwork. That's why they don't own that. They got everything in the trust. Because everything in the trust is owned by the trust, and the people that own the trust is not them. They don't own the trust. They live off the trust. The trust was established by Swiss bankers in order to give them the opulent lifestyle and the appearance of power and wealth. They not the ones with the money. That's not old money. 100 years old is not old money. Old money go all the way back to Pharaoh's coffers, go back to the coffers of Xerxes, the coffers of Brahma.
Mm-hmm.
And they all owned by Big Mama. That's old money. That's ancient money.
Right. That's right.
Right. So when you realize that these people are just fronts and help you to get past the idea that some cave dwellers called out the caves and conquered some Skywalkers.
Right.
Skywalker is in the name Zulu. When they came you there, the Zulu, them Inky sons. Right? Over here, they don't call them Zulu, they call them Hopi.
Mm-hmm.
Different tribe. Mirror tribe. Bantu. Right? All these different tribes over there have mirror tribes over here.
That's right.
And if we wasn't related, we wouldn't have mirror tribes.
That's right.
So we know they are cousins, and we don't have no problem with them, the people. We got a problem with the people that's pretending to be the power structure.
That's right.
They got a problem with it too, because they doing something about it, as we can see in real time.
That's right.
Right? We doing something about it over here, but the hard part is to convince the rest of us that we all got to wake up to the fact that something is being done by putting it in the public domain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? So once we can get enough people aware of the fact of what's taking place, the reclamation is taking place, the restoration is taking place, stop looking at yesterday, get out of the victim mentality and get in the victor mentality.
Right.
Right? Stop thinking and feeling like the loser and start feeling like a winner, and it'll change your world on a dime. You can't be a loser and a winner.
Right.
You can't think that you could be a winner at losing. That just make you the bump. You last all the time. But you're not last because you not putting in the work. Right? They don't want to do the self-analysis. They want to purify the ego so they can walk in a higher light.
Mm-hmm.
They want their light to shine, but they want to keep it in the cupboard.
Mm-hmm.
And it don't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have your light shining and put it in the cupboard expecting to be able to walk around the dark room.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to open that cupboard if you want to see what's going on in the room.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you might as well take the light out and sit it in the center of the room as the centerpiece
Mm-hmm.
to eliminate the whole room.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bro, the corn down.
Oh yeah, I got some good ones, Raw. I'm telling you, they finna get good. I got the
Where
good
there's
ones finna
dump
come up.
trucks trying to pick up these huge blocks, and they can't even pick it up. The blocks are actually making the truck tip. Then you see them come in there with these claws, and they try to like pick up the blocks, and they're tipping over our modern day construction vehicles. So then you sit here and go and you look at this and you go, okay, so you didn't have any of that. You didn't have the dump trucks. You didn't have the construction vehicles. You didn't have power tools. You must have just had work ethic. Actually, that's what it must have been. It must have been you just had some work ethic. And somehow with that work ethic, you got all that granite, and you got all that stone, and you got all that glass, you got all that copper, you got all the brass, you got all those materials, you got all the wood too. If you needed wood too, you got all that. It just poof, popped out of the air, and you could just build buildings and throw them up. It's just wild because the more you get into it, and I got more pictures with color so you guys can see. Look at that. I mean, there's color.
And this is in America, by the way, y'all.
Remember that whole
prior
thing?
to what they saying.
The blue roof. And then we got another one. I'll show you that one real quick. Hold on, I can just kind of move.
So here's the World Fair, like in Chicago. He's showing the World Fair in Chicago,
yeah.
y'all.
Blue roof. More color. I mean, look at the detail. Does that look like a temporary building? And what's funny is they said that these buildings were built out of paper mache. Yeah, they were just sitting there with paper mache and crafting out paper. They might as well take them and build them out of cardboard too as well, which is funny. And then you go into a building like this and you see, which is very interesting, almost looks kind of like with the mosques. You know how the mosques look? And then you have more pictures of people. You got more.
New York City, very interesting place, where they supposedly threw this massive building together in a single year, the Empire State Building. From 1930 to 1931, a 102-story high, 1,250-foot tall skyscraper that was the tallest building in the world until 1970. 12 months or less. We are told this was done. Remember, they have to work through winters. And this story gets extremely interesting and begins to show us how they do this and how these buildings are quickly thrown into the narrative where people didn't even have a chance to verify what was even really going on in the early 1900s, where they're telling us that the Waldorf Astoria was constructed in 1893, and then they demolish it in 1929, making way for the construction of the Empire State Building. So immediately, alarms should be going off in all of our minds. This narrative has just started, and we have already found something massive, where they were knocking down Renaissance Revival style hotels after just 36 years. Now, a side note, I just want to add in my personal opinion at this point, where you can believe whatever you like, but I believe that these buildings, as we've seen in Chicago, were actually constructed somewhere else in New York City, and they were demolished in 1929, but not to be replaced by the Empire State Building. I believe that the Empire State Building was always here, and these construction photos are ridiculous, where they are clearly edited, and they even admit that some of these photos were basically to trick the public when they say that this famous photo of the guys sitting on the beam was arranged as a publicity stunt, all a part of a campaign promoting the skyscraper. Now, this is for the Rockefeller Center, but only 1 year after the Empire State Building. So they were in the business of doctoring photos during this time period, manipulating the public. So this is not a shocking accusation at this point, since we have seen this so many times, especially when the identity of the actual photographer remains unknown. They have a lie on the wall. What else can we find? Remember, they have to get all the men. They need to get everything ready. And then, after all that's done, knock out the tallest building in the world. All completed in 1931. When they start putting this building in the movies, like King Kong, and showing the world that this is the brand new building, where we all know how the industry works at this point. We all know how it goes. We know that it promotes the narrative that it wants to, and it promotes the people that are in the group, and that's fine. They can do that. But it is our job to understand what is going on, and what has been going on for a very long time, where it says, it is the first of many iconic roles the building will play on the silver screen, and among its most important pop culture moments, in my opinion.
Now ask yourself this. This was supposed to be the 19...
Right there, we go to it's another phase. Now, Rod, so in 1933, that we already know that year, that's right there, the Great Depression. Now, he said, based on, and it's other brothers too, based on their research, that Empire State Building has been there at least almost 100 years before they tell them, saying it was there. So,
so why would we think anything different when we know they turned our castles into prisons?
Right.
State buildings, mental institutions. Right. You got to look at how omission, right? How they leave stuff out on purpose. Because when you start seeing the conceptual physics of the story they telling, the math is not mathing.
No kind of work.
So now you got to go do algebra and find the unknown variable. Right? So we had to change. We went from one system to another system. Look, this is what, if you go to a computer programmer, right? And you say, I'm going to wipe the memory from this computer so you have all new memory. Right? He'll tell you there still remains traces of the memory in the computer from the last user.
That's right.
Right? That means that he can still go in there after you've been using it and filled it up and get the information from the prior user.
It's called a signature.
Right. So the same way with the strata of the earth, every strata is a different cycle period. When that cycle period is over, you create a new cycle period. By changing everything, you have to destroy the old to bring in the new. Right? In India, they call them the Yuga cycles or Yuga years. Right? Some people call them Kali years. Because Kali controls time. Time's Mama Kali controls time. Kali Ma.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So before there was a father time, there was a mother time.
Mm-hmm.
And her practitioners be called thuggy or them thugs.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what it sounds like when thugs cry.
Right.
Meet me at the crossroad.
Right.
See, it's all in there, showing you the repeat in the cycles. It's in the art, it's in the entertainment. Everything is recycled, repurposed, and reused. If you can't see that, you won't know how to come up with nothing new. Because you're so busy stuck creating what you already know.
Yeah.
What's familiar to you. But when you break the paradigm, you start to make your spirit starts to give you a different artistic expression to the world. Now you can create.
Hey, my question, you finished, right? My question right to go along with what we saw so far is okay then. So the slave narrative, if all these buildings was in the 1900s, that slave narrative and everything they told us pretty much is crap. Anything they told us about us that put us in a lower light, like when we slaves or servants or anything like that. That it's all lies. Anything that put us in a lower light, other than hey, you guys were supreme, just like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us. Y'all are the gods of the cream of the crop, right? Anything that put us less than that before 1920, because so they had to just recently come up with this slave narrative, right? During the Rockefeller General Educational Board, 1903, right? 1903. They had to come up with that
Well, the
narrative.
only reason why I don't say they just came up with it then is because we have like David Walker is like, who is these people on our land in bondage?
Yeah.
Right. So we had somebody from our side questioning the practice. It's not culturally accepted on this land for you to hold people in bondage.
Mm-hmm.
So when he's seen it, he wrote the open letter for other chiefs to get a hold of it and to assess the area and see if they having the same issue. Right. So when he put the appeal out, it became a firestorm of propaganda warfare, and the government came out to rebut it in newspaper articles.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Saying they didn't never rebut the content of it. They said you should not read David Walker's appeal because it's a inflammatory rhetoric of an extremist, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
To try to convince people not to read it. But that just made us want to read it more.
Right.
He's a crazed Negro with a wicked pen. Oh, let me read what this brother talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we got to keep those things in mind when we're looking at the narrative we given.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we start seeing structural things that don't match the story, that's your ancestors talking from the past.
That's right.
Right? We already built it. That's why they all came. When they say we instrumental in building this country, because we built it.
That makes sense.
We've been here from the beginning. There was no here when we came because we had to build here so we can be here. We one with the earth, organic to nature. So we emerged in the location in which we from.
That's right.
Spirit took on body, and body walked amongst the men of the earth. It's a metaphorical formula for your consciousness awakening your human body.
All right, Rod. So let me create a timeline here, and then you tell me what you think. All right. So it had to be after the American Revolution when they created this. It had to be at least after the 1776 number or the 1773 American Revolution, 1776 the Illuminati, and then so they had to create this narrative. Based on my calculations and what I did in the other research, is it had to happen around either around after the Louisiana Purchase, like about around 60 after during the Civil War when they re-implement the black codes, or when they fully created that narrative. I think it had to be like 1865 after the Civil War when they created the Freedmen's Bureau, the Juneteenth fraud story, all these fraudulent stories about us being in captivity. How somebody that's slaves and savages you brought on a ship, and then all the people you saying that was over here, how all these buildings over here are hundreds of years. Then some of the architects I'm going to show you, man, it's like still they had to have some type of technology. It wasn't just no chisel and hammer on this joint, man. Them boys they had no just no chisel and hammer on this type of architect, man.
You know, we find all that ancient architecture, but we never find the tools they use.
Yeah, that's right.
When we find tools, it's normally contemporary with primitive man tools, like bone hammer and all that. That's a sign that somebody was living off the fat of the land. That's all that means. That don't mean they didn't have technology. Right. It just means that this group of people chose not to live in the areas where technology was in place because they looked at it as sorcery and magic. Technology is sorcery and magic to primitive people. The man with the fire stick, all tribes bow. Fire stick is the gun.
Right.
When primitive people see a gun for the first time, he got a fire stick.
Yeah.
He holds the power of the thunder in his hand.
Right.
And the lightning.
Right.
Because it got the flash and the boom. Mystified minds, and they begin to accept things from a different perspective.
That's right.
They are in awe at the power of the fire stick. Right? The alien coming from another planet is laughing at your switches. Because he busting your ass with lasers.
Oh, with something that disintegrates.
Yeah, he hitting you with wave weapons that paralyze your central nervous system while you standing there watching him walk up to you slow.
Yeah.
You can't even move.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Flash you and you forgot you saw him.
Yeah.
All that shit in them sci-fi movies is more legitimate than the shit in the motherfucking regular movies and the documentaries.
That brings my next question, bro. Now, in a lot of the technology they showed in the Man in Black, I got videos of the Tartarians having all that technology, like that machine they was driving that like a roller cart thing, like all that stuff we had already invented over here already. That they
that was called a univeel or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So even the flash thing you talk about. Now, oh yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. So we're still dealing with 19 around this time. Now, we had all this technology, and it's gonna show some of this in the videos. All this free energy. Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that they put the mother wheel up. I think it was 1929. Now, and it's about around the same time that they tearing down all of our technology. They destroying all of our ancient healing centers. Do you think that we, our group of scientists that had already invented all this technology, said that, hey, or they had some kind of a time machine or something, they said, hey, man, these guys finna try to destroy us. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come together, build this machine, put it up there, and that way it'll be up there. And then if he do take us all the way down, that machine gonna be the backup plan. This mother wheel. Go ahead.
The mother wheel was already built.
Okay.
That's why it's called the New Jerusalem, the Crystal City in Revelation.
No, I'm not talking about that one.
Listen what I'm telling you. Listen what I'm telling you.
Okay.
Elijah Muhammad was talking about what Farrar was explaining him the building of the mother plane, right? And he say that they ordered parts from all of the automotive manufacturers of the era. They didn't want one of them to build the whole thing they was building, so they
compartmentalized. That's what they call it. They did it in the Air Force.
outsourced. They outsourced the work for different parts of the mechanics. Now, he said it was a half mile by a half mile. That's a big ship in modern times. But in ancient times, it's just as much as building a regular airplane.
Yeah, a blimp. They had these blimps, huge blimps. Like
But the blimps are made different than the mothership.
That's right.
Right. Now, we do know, contemporary with the rise of Adolf Hitler, that the people from Germany was experimenting. Now, this is during the early 1930s. Mind you, World War II break out in the mid 30s, like 33, 34.
Yeah.
Right. And it lasts to 1945. It gradually escalated from Europe. America don't get into it till years later. The war's been raging.
1945.
Right. That's when it ended.
No, I'm talking about when they got popped their paperclip. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, because when they ended the war, they had to have a negotiated treaty. Conditions of surrender and conditions of the victor. Right. So Nazis, which is Ashkenazi, the Ashkenazis, which we call them, let's say orange juice. Right. So we calling them the juice. But reality is that's the cover story. Paperclip was an attempt to conceal who they really wanted to bring over here. Right. And those people that they really wanted to bring over here, names is not released to the public. The ones that they want you to know about, all of the ones that went into Lockheed, Scott, and NASA, and they went to the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. They let their names be known for a reason. Somebody is the scapegoat, the fall guy, the patsy, the crash dummy.
Right.
The one you exposing to the public is not the one you trying to protect. Why would they expose Nazis to the public if they wanted to keep them safe? Think about that for a minute. Operation Paperclip would have brought them in under the disguise.
That's right.
Right. So then you got to realize that the whole World War II story we told in the Anne Frank diaries, all that shit was made up. All of the so-called Hitler videos we see, those were not even produced in Germany. They was produced in Hollywood, California.
And that's a fake Hitler.
That's why they never showed you the real Hitler. Those were coming from what they used to call them back then newsreels. And they was telling the paleface over here that it wasn't no more people that looked like us in power nowhere on the planet. So they couldn't run the reel of Adolf Hitler looking like me and you. So they ran, the guy that played Hitler is a classmate of Charlie Chaplin from acting school.
Yeah.
The same acting school.
I seen that.
Well, they got the same mustache.
Yeah, he's actor.
It's called vaudeville. When you do your vaudevillian history, most people don't have time to do all of the history of this stuff. But when you do your vaudevillian history, you find out that the entertainment capital was New York, but they wouldn't allow the tiny hats in. So they set up their own production system in Hollywood. Right? They had to get rid of Biddy Mason first. She was the blood sacrifice. They're not going to never tell you the real story, but when you know who's the rightful heirs, it's going to tell you. Look up Biddy Mason. Biddy Mason was on most of the land that we call Los Angeles right now. They say she was born in slavery. I don't believe it.
I won't. But crap, straight crap.
Because remember, at the time she was around, we had the largest holding of heirs land in the country out of anybody else. If we was all slaves, how are we getting heirs land? That's land passed down the family lines. This is how they stole it from the matriarchy, by marrying patriarchs on the matriarchs, and the man become the leader of the house, and he kill off the woman. He kill off the woman, now he can make a sharecropping deal and lose the property by the attrition model. Look up the word attrition and understand the concept of attrition. That's when you gradually do something. They didn't take all our stuff overnight. They took it over time. They told us they stole the land. It's still here.
Right.
And we still own it. In possession is 9/10 of the law. So we 99% in the right.
Right.
Right. All we got to do is put it in the public domain, and the tribes is responsible to put it in the public domain. Your enemy not responsible to tell you anything that's going to benefit you ever. He's not obligated to do it. Now, he didn't plan on doing it. It's your responsibility to see beyond what the enemy is telling you and what's really taking place. All these cities is ancient metropolises: Detroit, Chicago, Cleveland. Cleveland used to be the congregation center for a big family union called the Browns. This is why their sports team is the Browns.
That's right.
The Browns is one of the largest tribes on the land, old Mississippians. And they settled in what they used to call Cleveland territory. Cleveland is it's a play on the word cleaver, which is actually making reference to what we call a mohawk, a tomahawk. Right? There's the same instrument made from two different places. The cleaver came from Asia. The tomahawk came from over here. We just use the tools different. They still used to use them to chop food up and cook. Just like they'd chop your head off with it and take your head. It's the same with swords in Arabia. The Arabian sword don't look like the European sword.
That's right. You got like a little
samurai sword don't look like the Arabian sword or the European sword. And they don't even call it a sword. They call it a katana.
That's right.
Right? So the tool is different, but a swordsman is a swordsman no matter which one of the sword disciplines he came from. It's just that they all use the different tool to accomplish the same job. But the tool is similar and serve the same purpose. Right? So when you look at the Spartans' helmet, that's the Mohawks tribes. The Mohawks is a tribe led by a Mohawk chief who wore his hair like that in order for his tribesmen to be able to see him.
Black Hawk.
Everybody in the tribe didn't wear the Mohawk. Only certain warriors that was on the front lines wore the Mohawk. The rest of them wore braids, locks, froze.
That's right.
You know, some wore feathers in their hair, some didn't. Some weaved leather in their hair. Yeah, but they all knew that when they seen that Mohawk leading the charge, they knew then that this is the way that we had to go to pursue the fight. They tell us that they came from Spartans, and that's their helmet. That's our haircut in war. Right. Our war garb is expressed in our cultural remembrance. Right? From how when you repping your hood, you're wearing your flag. Flags are European in origin. They not from over here. We used to wear it in our garb. Old Mississippian wolf tribe. He come into the war dressed like a damn wolf.
Right.
old Mississippian Bison Clan. He's coming to the war dressed like a buffalo. The Black Panther King, they coming to the war dressed in a Black Panther skin. Because that was their initiation rite for the times of war. We wasn't wearing that stuff on no day-to-day basis. We was dapper dying. Ask some boys in New Orleans. That's where we used to manufacture our new dress styles out of New Orleans. But every tribe gave it their own swag. Ain't none of this stuff new.
Nope.
The remembrance got to come from where the fall took place, New York.
Yeah.
The Dutch, New Amsterdam became New Yorkshire, became New York. Right? So what has to happen? During the time of the awakening, the remembrance call has to come from the first place to fall to the foreign invasion. And then you end up with New York being the birthplace of modern hip hop, which traces back to the Mississippi Delta blues, to the old Mississippian clans who sang them stories on the front porch, entertaining Big Ma and the family. They call them stand-up comedians. We used to call them uncles on the porch.
Right.
Right? Because at nighttime, we didn't have no TV. We didn't listen to the radio. The family had a band in the barn. We had fires around which we told stories. The stories we told around our pumpkin festival became known as horror stories or scary stories.
Mm-hmm.
And only certain Greeks was qualified to tell the story because he could keep you hung on his words. And when he slammed his hands together like a door slamming while he's explaining it to you, you jump like you there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also a training exercise on how to focus the mind. So everything we did served an educational purpose and a functional purpose. What we consider as entertainment, we used to use it to educate each other.
Mm-hmm.
They gave us education in what they call diction format. That means we being dictated to what to think. That's not what we used to do. We used to give knowledge by abstract format, open air education. Not four walls, Skinner box, Pavlovian bells response systems. Right? This is why you got professors, because all they doing is professing.
Right? Professor, no.
Right? But the professor is the dictator. Because when you go to class, he's giving dictation. He's telling you how to think and what to think.
Right.
You have to write it down so you can parrot it back to make sure that you are taking the dictation properly. Straight up the wazoo.
Damn.
It's all in the lingo of the language and they're telling the story, but they don't know what they're telling you.
That's cold, boy. That's a cold piece. All right, let's roll some more clips because we going pretty fast. I got some good ones.
Roll
New York City.
Now ask yourself this. This was supposed to be the 1900s, but again, I told you, don't follow timelines. The timelines are wrong. They are manipulating the timeline. So we don't know exactly what the exact date is. Now look at his name, okay? Remember, they told you the sinking of the Titanic, okay, is because they have a lot of powerful people in there. And the rise, let me say this again, the rise of the Reconstruction era. Let me say this again. The rise of the Reconstruction era. The Reconstruction era means the destruction of these buildings. What you call Tartaria. What you call Tartaria. What you call the fair, the World's Fair. The way you saw Chicago with all these buildings. The way you saw St. Louis with all these buildings. The way you saw Philadelphia with all these buildings. The way you saw New York with all these buildings. That was the empire. This was the Empire operation. Let me say this again. The Tartarian didn't want to call things because the best way for them to change shit, to make you seem like it was never you, is to give something a name. It was all us. We built this. This is when the Empire was running. All these buildings was built by the Empire. That's why they told you, the mayor, the founder of Chicago, Quentin Schaub, he was not a founder of Chicago. He was the region leader from the Empire of Chicago, because the entire America was running by the Empire, and that's why. So now, remember, the Reconstruction era starts because you have a group of foreign people. Now, what are these foreign people? The same foreign enemies that we have since the 1400s is the same foreign enemy then. Nothing changed. We still at war with the same groups of people. They're still around. So these people want to establish what you call the banking system. Okay, this is when now the new banking system, the federal banking system, and they want to introduce the system of what you call taxation. Okay, so now they have to get.
Hey, these are the guys right here. Hope kissing their shoes, boy.
The Rockefellers are one of the most powerful.
Shh. Come with me, let me show you something.
Usury. Any interest rate is called usury. Usury is illegal. So in Christian nations, lending money for an interest rate was illegal. So because it was illegal for the Christians, who did the lending? The Jews. So there was Christians who could lend for 0% or didn't lend at all. And then these people called the Jews would come over and start lending money. They would start charging money. And in a couple generations, guess what would happen to the economy? The Jews owned everything. And then guess what the king did? Rounded them up and threw them out of the country. Then they go to the next country, and what would they do? Same thing. And what would that king do? Round them up, kick them out of the country. This went on for thousands of years. This is why the Jews in history have had no country, because the king would have, they would say no usury, no money lending, and they would start the money lending, they would start the central bank to compete with the king would kick them out. They go to the next country, do it again. So this has happened over and over and over again, because this quote right here from Napoleon, he would show the compound interest tables, and he said in a very short amount of time, compound interest would eat up every piece of property in France. In fact, I'm going to show you how powerful compound interest is. It's a very scary thing. And there's a reason why it was illegal. Illegal in the Christian nations and the Christian philosophy, because it would literally enslave people. Guys, the interest on credit cards enslave people today. Does student loans enslave people today? We no longer have.
What they don't want you to know is that the previous civilization to us, the Tartarians, were far more advanced than we are. They understood their real purpose. They understood their connection and relationship with the ether and with Gaia and with every living matter on the planet. They understood that far better than us. And every now and again, every 250 years, the elite, or the parasites as I like to call them, because they are by definition a parasitic race of people, they'll wipe us out. And the reason they do that is greed and control. There's no profit to be made from giving people free energy. And there's no control over allowing people to travel freely. And the Tartarians are known also, that period of time in the empire is known as the Empire of Free Travel. And people used airships. There were no passports. There was no money. It was all done on barter. And people traded. And very greedy group of people that, as you know, descend from Amun-Ra and the Anunnaki, or Marduk, whatever you want to call Amun-Ra, the person you're saying amen to when you go to church. They descend from him, and they have a habit of wiping us out when we get a little bit too big for our own boots and we become too powerful. And I think that my fear is that these resets that occur, and these great resets, which are every 250 years, a sort of culling period, We're going through one now, and anybody can find that out by just going on the World Economic Forum's website.
Yeah,
and
you can see it's happening.
yeah, but my fear with this reset is that they won't need to repopulate to the extent that they have done in the past at this time, because they've got AI almost where they need it. So you're not going to need as many people. So many things are automated now. But back at the last reset, they weren't. And all of a sudden, if you look at the Industrial Revolution, for example, you'll see that farms and mills and factories and mines are full of children. And there's a specific reason for that. There weren't any adults. These children did not have parents. Their parents aren't there. This was a repopulation program called the Cabbage Patch Babies. So that's why they do it, Sam. In a nutshell, they
put that out already,
out
y'all.
when we get to a point where
grand buildings were made with wood and plaster. Let's just suppose for a moment that they were. Even then, completing a project of this scale in less than 2 years is no small feat. We see massive statues and embankments, a massive challenge to create in such a short time period. While not impossible with today's technology, we haven't seen anything of a similar scale built so quickly in modern times. This gets even deeper as we explore other World's Fairs, such as the Pan American Exposition of 1901 in Buffalo, remembered for the assassination of President William McKinley. The fair showcased the technological progress of the Americas and was the first to extensively use electrical power. Now, if one were to truly be unbiased, ask the question, do these buildings truly look temporary? The Pan American Exposition of 1901, held in Buffalo, New York, was another remarkable showcase of architectural innovation, similar to the World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago. Much like its predecessor, many of the buildings in the exposition were designed to be
So they built into the ground. This is what we're going to accept. They built into the ground. How does that make any sense that an architect would come up with blueprints, I guess, and go, you know what? We're gonna build this massive building. We're gonna dig into the ground. Okay. Everywhere I go, I am seeing the same thing. Okay, there's the courthouse. That looks like it was raised. That does not, the foundation of that doesn't look original. I don't understand. I mean, everything I look at, I'm just trying to piece together. I mean, because honestly, between, the windows that are, half covered or almost fully covered.
Where are the toilets? This is a question that people who start researching Tartaria and start looking into these Gothic style, Tartarian style buildings often ask. Where are the toilets? How did these people go to the bathroom? But I think we are asking the wrong question. If you take a look at modern day power plants, there's no toilets, no beds, no kitchens. Why? Because the purpose is not to house people. It's to generate energy. And when we look at these ancient masterpieces, we start to see similarities. Sky-high spires, copper domes, quartz windows, and intricate lattice work. They are all conductive, all resonant, and all perfectly designed to pull energy straight from the ether. These buildings were not designed for comfort. They were built for current. These were the original power stations, frequency-based, atmospheric, and self-sustaining. And we tore them all down for wires and coal. History wasn't lost. It was unplugged.
Well, have you heard the theory that it goes back to Tartaria, that the Great Wall of China, it's actually facing the wrong way. So like the holes that they would shoot arrows out of is facing towards China. It's suspected that another nation, it could have possibly been Tartaria.
That's super strange. Speaking of ancient, like the wall being built by something else, someone else possibly.
Not only did they erase Tartaria, 1776 was the year everything changed. In 1776, the Illuminati was founded in Bavaria. The Rothschild banking empire began its global expansion. The American Revolution broke out. Tartaria began to disappear from the maps, all in the same year. Coincidence? Tartaria was not a myth. It was a vast, ancient civilization with advanced free energy technology, great architecture using sacred geometry, a harmonious way to live with natural law, knowledge of the ether. They buried Tartaria, literally, with mud floods, natural disasters, and a new history. Once they buried the old world, they created the new one. Central banks, slavery by debt, maritime law, artificial scarcity, indoctrination through education, all funded by the same families. The Rothschilds didn't just fund empires, they funded
Have we been lied through about what really happened in the great fires of the 1800s? Places like Chicago, San Francisco, Baltimore, Charleston, many cities were destroyed. The pictures that you see are the remains of what was, and in this case we see these neoclassical ruins, something like we might see in Greece or Rome, and they've all been destroyed by fire. Now how can that happen? How can we watch these huge granite buildings burn to the ground from a fire? In many cases, we're talking about the complete destruction of the entire city center and all of the businesses and everything else. And you can see from these pictures, it was just absolute chaos. But it's strange to look at these people in photos. It almost looks like they're staged photographs. But was fire really to blame for all of this? Or is it possible some type of energy weapon was used? And history.
I'll stop right there. I got a couple more, but we wrote a couple of them. Now I got a couple of questions I wrote down. Now, Rod, so I bet, like, you know me, I do a lot of study on the extraterrestrial stuff, and I connect the Rockefellers and these German guys back with this group of extraterrestrials called the Aldebarans, and it seemed like to me, I believe it's an agenda. I believe the Aldebarans is in on the agenda with these black Yaku Enlil gang. That I believe that some extraterrestrials reset us. Enlil and them reset us recently, like less than 100 years ago. What you think about that, Rod? That some extraterrestrial, because it's like they use laser weapons. Fires couldn't have burned, just burn all that stuff.
You remember earlier in the same dialogue, earlier in the show,
Okay.
I told you that a lot of this is the result of post-nuclear holocaust.
Okay.
We call them pyramid wars when you talk about the primary points of activity from which the wars was fought. The bases were constructed under the pyramid construction. Right? When we talk about the Manus wars, now we're not talking about wars that's fought from the pyramids. We're talking about aerial warfare. When you look up the Gandiva is also called the planet destroyer. Yeah. It's a nuclear weapon.
Yeah.
And the Gandiva is what when we was having the pyramid wars, when we had nuclear holocaust, it caused the nuclear winter that we closing out the cycle of recovery from. Yeah. It was total annihilation. It's not the first time. Remember that show we did about the great human bottleneck?
Yeah.
Well, all of it was only like 1,500 people left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. If it was only 1,500 people left, history should tell each one of their names.
Right.
That's not a lot of people.
No.
History don't record their names. So you saying that everybody on Earth come from 150, from 1,500 people.
Numbers don't line up.
Right? So where's the diversity in the genetics so vast if it's only 1,500 people and that was like 200-some thousand years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they call in people Neanderthals. Neanderthals was already gone.
Right.
Right? So We know they ain't Neanderthals. We walk on the same scale they using to determine who a Neanderthal is. They have something called Homo sapien, Homo erectus, and Cro-Magnon. Right? Then the ones before that, you have your Australopithecines, right? Then you have your Gigantopithecus. You got your Zinjopithecus. All these can be looked up, right? You have your Peking man. All these different genetic stocks in human don't exist no more. What happened to the genetics where those genetic blueprints was no longer available, right? Then you got something called proconsul, which is a early Australopithecine, closer related to a chimpanzee. That's what they say Lucy was. 3.5 million years ago was the age of proconsul, but it was people back then. It's always been people like us on the planet. Now, when we look at them, we probably the ones that tore down the old civilization to fight the war. Before you have my house, I'll tear this SOB down. Then give it to you. We could have did it. But our responsibility is to reverse engineer the sacred drift. Remember, it's a Moorish paradigm, right? If you reverse the sacred drift, you can then turn back the clock of destiny to read what was taking place in the era, right? And the order of the round table tell you which angle to look at in order to see the center. Right. So when we understand the sciences behind what's being told in the literature, they telling both sides of the story. Right. And now you have to look at it from the tribal side of the story instead of the settler side of the story. That's called a paradigm shift. A paradigm shift is when you suddenly see something from a different direction. It changes the way you perceive what you saw. The whole paradigm shifts. What you might have thought originally came for your destruction end up being your salvation. When your paradigm shifted, you was able to see it. But you was in the old paradigm, you was stuck in victim mode. Right? That's what they were socially engineering us to do. But now, when we putting it all back together and we showing the historical anomalies, the paper genocide, the cultural appropriation of our modern culture, why would you not think they wasn't appropriating our ancient culture back then? So then when you see who's the one that's appropriating our culture, then you get to see who the actual ones are that belong and who don't. We use our culture to teach spiritual lessons. So if they take the weaving job from the tribe that does the blankets, right? That's a spite to the Anasazi, which came with the Great Mother to teach them how to weave the baskets and weave the blankets and weave the clothes and sew with the needle, right? These are spiritual practices that serve a practical purpose in the community. So the blanket tribes come and give you a blanket to let you know they respect you and they love you and that they, whatever they can do to protect you, they're going to do it spiritually or physically. But then you got a whole nother group that learn to sew with the needle and they're going to come and give you moccasins, right? Because they what we call slipper clans. In the Spanish world, they got something called the chancla. But why do the Samoan Big Mamas have one too, but she don't call it a chunkler? Right? And they do it over here. Mama gonna bust you upside the head with that shoe.
That's funny.
But it's a symbol of matriarchal authority. So when you get your blessings, they come in the form of the slippers. The slippers show that you walk the right path. And then they have messages in the tapestry of the item that they gifting you. And over time, the message reveals itself. Sometimes you instantly know when you see it because it might be tied to an emotional event that made them choose to honor you. You rescued the daughter of the chief from drowning by dropping what you was doing, diving into the river while it was raging. Right? So they become emotionally involved. So when you see the art on the blanket telling you a story about rescuing somebody out the river, it's all told in the story of the art. So there's stuff like that. But all of that has been appropriated now to industrial manufacturing on a wholesale level, using less than proper quality of material, using substitutes and artificials in place of originals and things that harmonize with the frequency and energy of the intentions that's infused in the product. Right? So you see, they told you about blending fabrics and they booked the Bible. If blending fabrics was always okay, they wouldn't have a restriction on it in a book that's supposed to go back 2,000 years. Right? Well, why are they concerned about blending fabrics? When you go do what they call fabric frequency testing, then it'll make sense.
While natives built certain things, we did certain things. It makes sense. Hey,
Everything had a reason.
I got another question for you, Rod. So the free energy thing, they made something about the free energy, that we had free energy. Like we ain't need no money because we had like most of everything was free. And then whatever you needed, you really just traded for it. But then when Rockefeller come, all of a sudden now coal and oil. So could you go in? Why they didn't want us to have free energy? Because they couldn't charge us, they couldn't control us if we had everything free, right?
You see the movie Sinners?
Sinners. Seems like I heard that movie.
Michael B. Jordan is the twins. Smoking Stack.
Nah, I hadn't seen that one.
All right, we need to watch it for this part.
Right now.
They build a juke joint from an old sawmill and they open up the juke joint. And then you have they coming in there, the people coming to the juke joint. Some of them is spending Federal Reserve notes. But then some of them is spending what we call plantation currency. Now, they didn't want the plantation currency. The twins didn't. They wanted the Federal Reserve notes. But in that little area around there, you can spend the plantation dollar just like any other money. Those were the family banks that they call plantation banks that issue plantation money. They didn't pay slaves. Why would you have plantation money when you don't pay slaves? Think about that. Let that sink in. That you pay workers, employees, right? You pay family members for their help and their support on the farm, right? And because your goods are still gonna sell at the market, the type of currency you use for your currency is represented in the value of the product you produce. The reason why they turned it into plantation currency, because they don't want you to understand banking. You got to remember, Frederick Douglass single-handedly funded a bank in I think it was
Yep.
North or South Carolina.
Yep. Yep.
Where did
No.
he get that kind of money from if he was a damn slave?
Right. He was a king, actually. Prince.
Right.
Actually.
So now he get out of slavery and pass everybody in the country. That don't even make sense.
Nah, he that was King George III's son.
And
Changed
then
his name.
he beat up the slave master. Remember that?
Yeah.
And didn't get lynched.
Yeah. Yeah.
That don't make sense either. Not with the narrative we've been fed.
Yeah.
His whole story becomes questionably fantastic
Yeah.
based on what they told us about the era, the temperature and climate of the people of the era. There's no way he whooped the slave master
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
and went home and went to bed and woke up the next morning with no problems.
Nah, hell no.
It's not gonna happen unless they telling us a goddamn lie.
Less happened in Rosewood, and they killed the whole damn town.
Mm-hmm. Rosewood was more than just that incident. It was Black Wall Street in Florida.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
They were self-sufficient. They had their own currency.
Right.
Right. You got to remember, they was funding their own banks with pennies. They the ones created insurance for burials. Our ancestors 125, 150 years ago. Because the land was being strangled by the fiat note. Back then, they were treasury bond notes called greenbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We forget about this.
Mm-hmm.
Those were treasury bond notes. And they was tied to a federal savings bond system that gave the payout on the note's value in order to generate a positive energy cash flow.
Hey, all right. That brings, but now that you say that brings me to your next receipt that you gave me about okay, hold on. It closed up. About the trust. What is it called? The acute trust?
The SQEV trust.
Yeah, let's get that pulled up real quick. All right, Rod.
Okay, so this is SQEV Act 1666. Enacted in 1666, although it received royal assent on February the 8th, 1667. See where it say royal assent? That means that it was approved by somebody with the stroke of royalty. Yeah.
Right.
It say the act addresses the legal challenge of proving the death of people who had disappeared, especially after events like the Great Plague and Great Fire of London in 1665 and 1666. It allowed for a legal declaration of death for those who had been missing for 7 years to resolve issues related to their property and inheritance.
Machiavelli in this.
Right? Now, pay attention to what they're telling us. They say it's allowing for somebody to declare somebody legally dead after 7 years. That coincides with the Catholic Church saying, give us your child for the first 7 years, and we'll tell you the man he'll become.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because it takes 7 years for them to claim your estate.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This ties back to the papal bull that the Pope put out. I forgot the name of it. I think it might be the Inca, but it's one of the papal bulls, and it says that the Pope is the caretaker of all of the people of the earth, because they were all imbeciles and unable to attend and attain to their own affairs before God. That's the Pope wrote that in the Papal Bull. So this right here is, okay, now that we got everybody's asset, how do we organize it? How do we utilize it? And how do we prevent them from ever knowing about it and accessing it? Right? So now they putting everything in what they call a trust, right?
Go ahead.
So the trust is assuming that everybody is a juvenile. Right? So now, once you activate the trust, you don't activate the trust like you do any other trust in a system. Because this has to do with royal rights. So now you understand the bloodlines of the Holy Grail was telling you how to map out who's who on the planet Earth in relation to the SESQEV Act of 1666 that created the SESQEV Trust. Now, this was where they generated the trusts to hold all our stuff in that they was not allowed to trade or use, but they could use it for collateral under what we call a fiat levy and lien system under the salvage rights that's tied to the recovery of the proceeds of the person that they declared dead and lost at sea, civilly mortis.
Black people.
Right. Now, in comes 1929, right? Noble Drew Ali claimed the trust.
Yep. 28, right here. Here you go, right here.
1928 Havana Convention, the Sixth International Conference of American States, resulted in 11 conventions on various topics, including the rights and duties of states during civil strife, maritime neutrality, and the Pan-American Union. Key agreements included rules for granting asylum, restrictions on belligerent warships in neutral ports, and provisions for protecting civilian aircraft in international navigation. The United States also ratified several other international conventions that were adopted at the conference, such as the Kellogg-Briand Pact. Any more, Elder?
No, that's it. But I didn't find a piece where it said Noble Drew Ali. But you just read something that was interesting right here. Belligerent warships, neutral port. That's what happened when they crashed their ship on ours, right?
Right. So now, remember you was reading something to me this early on the phone about them crashing the ship in the street.
Yeah. About the
Is that in here?
Let me see. Did I put it in here? The Chicago fires. Tartarian deep. It might not be in here. That might be the last one that I couldn't get off my email. It started acting funny.
No, this is before I sent you anything. You had told me you was reading something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't. I couldn't go back to it to screenshot it. I tried to go back to it to find it, and I couldn't screenshot it. I didn't screenshot the piece when I was talking to you. I forgot to screenshot.
So remember the architecture on the ground where them tight ass stairs was going to that. Remember that clip? The lady was talking about the architecture.
Yeah, that's right. The underground stuff, right?
Go back to that for a second, just for a second, because this is going to show you what I'm talking about. A lot of our cities, right? The streets used to be carved out with water. They had to drain.
Have we been lied through about what?
So they built into the ground. This is what we're going to accept. They built
I'm moved to talk, bro. I'm moved to talk.
How does that make any
You
sense?
see how that's way too tight. That's secondary.
Come up with
You
blueprints,
can see the
I
difference
guess,
in the
and go, you know
construction
what?
materials.
We're gonna build this massive.
Then you see that the
massive
windows
building. We're gonna dig
are
into
at the sidewalk.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, you can
Everywhere
stop
I
it.
go, I am seeing the same thing.
Look at you see
Okay,
those
there's the
windows over there?
courthouse.
Yeah.
That looks like it
It's
was
all
raised.
around the land
That does
because
not. The foundation of that does not look
street.
original. I don't understand.
Yeah, you can stop it
everything I
now.
look at. So they built into the ground. This is.
Some of our cities, the streets was canals. We looked at like Venice, Italy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. This how you able to get a ship down the street. Think about that for a minute. You can't get no ship down no damn street unless you're going through a waterway.
Right.
But a lot of our old cities was built by waterways because we used to use it for transportation and to move stuff because it's easier to float it than it is to put it on a cart and roll it.
That's right.
Right. So we had a lot of our streets was waterways and we got around by boats. Right. If you could Google Mississippian riverboat. They come up from old boats we used to use.
Hey, I got a clip in here. I don't think on it, bro. On the
I think we did a class and showed it already.
Yeah, it's talk about it right here. Thinking
Got these wartime boats, 1893. That is a very impressive boat. Almost looks like a submarine. 1893. Interesting. And then you have this one, which has more what look like beautiful birds, and it looks like a Christmas tree up on top. But look at that's a castle. I mean, if anybody saw that and anybody was around at that time, I mean, you would think this is a castle. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I used to play with Legos as a kid. These are castles. This is what you were building when you played with Legos. You were building castles. And then to take it a step further, and what's fascinating was there was a guy, the people who were fighting, and what's fascinating was there was a guy, I think his page is called My Lunch Break. He's on YouTube, and he showed some of these videos, and he actually asked ChatGPT how many pounds of stones were used for this building. And it came out to, when he asked about a cathedral, it was 500,000 tons of granite. And the granite came from different countries. So how would you move 500,000 tons of granite? And this was in the 1500s. That's what they're saying. This cathedral was built in the 1500s, and they moved 500,000 tons of granite. I mean, even if you had horses, imagine the amount of trips it would take to even try to move any of that. Let alone the horses would get.
So so they would have to make sense what you saying, Raw, about the waterways. That'll be the unless they had some kind of I'm thinking they had more than this the waterway. They had some kind of ancient levitation devices. Because that dude, look, this dude right here, Rod. You remember this dude right here? Doc talk about this dude down in Florida. That white dude, Lampskin, what Leaps.
Richard Leeskin. Yeah, Richard Leeskin, who was transporting them blocks to build the Coral Castle.
Yeah, this right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he ain't had no heavy equipment. He used this thing right here, supposedly some kind of gravitation device.
Yeah, he had these things they call cones. That the way that it works is it vibrates. The vibration causes the denseness of the matter to become neutralized. Mm-hmm. Before we knew what the Higgs boson was, we knew it was using something as leverage to neutralize the weight, but we didn't know what it was. Mm-hmm. When they discovered the Higgs boson, then you were able to fill in the blank. Uh-huh. It's able to relax the dense quality of the Higgs boson in order to neutralize the gravity around it, mm-hmm, using frequency. So this is what he was using to move that. So several people seen him at night loading them on the beach, but they all said he had these things that looked like giant ice cream cones in his hand. He was using ancient technology. We would today, if we use this terminology for Tartaria, for ancient technology, they call it Tartarian. I'm still going to call it Atlantean because the Atlantean civilization created all of that technology first. So we're talking about several million years ago. This stuff right here is all like the intelligence level of humanity has fell so low that it's utterly amazing to me that the collective of humanity is as ignorant as they are willfully. Not that they ignorant, that they willfully ignorant because they choose not to exercise their mind nor their willpower. But they don't know universal law says the law of use. If it's of good quality, nobody's using it. Don't just let it sit there and rot. Put it to use. If the rightful owner come back, just give it back to them so they can use it. That's all. And then people get upset because they be like, they was using me. Be thankful you was useful. Because you can't use something that's useless. Just don't misuse it. Misusing is using it for other than the intended purpose. You can't hammer a nail with a screwdriver, and you can't screw a screw with a hammer. But you can screw a screw with a screwdriver, and you can nail a nail with the hammer. Proper use. Why people don't even know what they want out of life, so they disgruntled about the life they living.
Right. Hey, Rod. This is my next question for you, Rod. Now, I'm thinking that okay, so they tell us that hey, well, America got this bursting technology because I hear some certain stories from the extraterrestrial community where they say that they got this burst of technology from extraterrestrials. But I'm thinking that they got this burst of technology because they got a hold of our technology, like you said, that was already Atlantis technology, and they just got a hold of it. And this is another part too. The black extraterrestrials they talk about. What if some of the Tartarians who had this technology went to the other side of the ice wall, to the center of the earth, and they still live down now, and then they come back above when they did the nuclear bomb on Japan. That these guys who are the original Tartarians, that's some of our ancestors who separated and went to the inside. Because they said that Eisenhower met with a group of black. Well, they didn't mention this, but certain whistleblowers said that one of the groups were black. They didn't want to talk about that part. They want to talk about Ashtar Command meeting up with them in the graves. But what if some of the Tartarian civilization, the Nubians, went to the beyond the ice wall and they still got this technology? But then we have why would they leave us? Why would they leave us hanging like this? Yeah, go ahead.
We still here. What does you mean? Where did we go?
No, I'm talking about not just us. I'm talking about not just us. I'm talking about like our old, like us, right? Say like when they started attacking us in 1920, right around the same time with Noble Drew Ali claiming and the stock market crash, the mother wheel being put up at this time. It seemed like our major problems is between 1920 to 1940. Seemed like when they did from 1900 to 1940, they redid the educational system. They redid all of our Rockefeller got rid of all our schools that we had that taught herbs. He switched it out with petroleum. Then he went around paid people to set random fires to whole cities, but just like they were just recently doing with the George Soros thing. Staging riots. This ain't nothing new for us. It's the same moves, man. It's like all the same moves to me.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Somebody is trying to conquer us.
Yeah, that's what I feel like, man.
But we fighting back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we won and they lost.
Right.
Right? Now, you got to remember, man, there's nothing new under the sun.
That's right.
This is the game of the gods. We came into these human bodies to play human life on a planet called Earth, where we learn how to deal with our emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All our pain and all our misery and all our happiness and all our joys are all amazing to us when we're not in the physical body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? When you start understanding that, you start understanding like we can't keep living the same continuous stretch for eternity.
Mm-hmm.
So we break it down into cycles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? And the side effect of breaking it down into cycles is you get to forget about one cycle while you live the next cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you can stay in cycles like that until you remember all of the cycles. And you're going through it lifetime after lifetime. That's what they call reincarnation loop. Because you just live in them, you're not learning from them. But you can only live them for so long before you begin to learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
Because the familiarity of the repeat is going to be popping up as deja vu in parts of your life.
That's right.
I mean, didn't I do this already? Yep, you did. You just don't know you did it 50 trillion times.
That's right.
In 50 trillion different lifetimes. You are eternal. But after you go through the same set of cycles, it becomes so redundant that you begin to get bored in your God form when you play human. It's too easy now. We need to put the game on another level. Put it on hard level for me, Uncle. I want to play the game on hard level. This easy level, you know, what's the easy level? The 1%. That's the easiest level in the game. What's the hardest level? The ones at the bottom. Only the best players want to play from the hardest level. It takes the blame out of it. When you take the blame out of it, then you can see the game in it. But when you blaming it using the blame game is to compel you to pick a side. You can't bump straight when you pick a side.
Mm-hmm.
The side has to come to the straight with you by being accurate and true. So when you take the sides, you stuck in the blame game. Right? You realize you at the bottom because you're the strongest. You say, shit, all I got to do is stand up now.
Mm-hmm.
And tell everybody just like me that all we got to do is just stand up. We don't have to take it no more if we don't want to. But we're strong enough to take it for a little while longer if we have to. Long as we know it's coming to an end, we can endure it a little bit longer.
Right.
But the end gonna have to come. The marathon is never eternal.
Right.
In other words, you got to end one cycle to begin a new cycle. And as the cycles change, we rewrite the script. And we allow the ones with the creativity and the artistic ability to tell the story in arts and entertainment and political satire. Monopoly is the business world. Plutocracy is the total takeover. Yahtzee is the word game. Scrabble. Secondary word game. Right? Then you got bingo. Numbers in alignment with letters. Numbers and letters. Frequency and vibration. So it's telling you all the same thing. You repeating it all. It gets redundant. You become exhausted. Man, I did this so many times. I ain't never coming back to this. We always say that.
Right.
But when we get outside the physical body and we realize the fact that we said that mean that we was living our life. And it had stuff we liked and stuff we didn't like. We was experiencing feeling alive. in our 3D body. We was understanding our emotions as a mortal from our immortal self in the human body. Now we can go back and look at and say, "Whoo, man, that was a heck of a carnival ride. Let me see which one I'm gonna take next." And then you come through mama's womb once again to live this thing called life and to play the game of the gods. To start from the bottom and work your way up just because you put the work in, not because you better than nobody, because you worked harder than everybody. And earn your right to sit in your spot. Once you earn your right, can't nobody take you from you. It's the law of karma.
Right. Right.
The law of karma is tied to the law of physics, cause and effect. Right? Law of cause and effect say for equal and opposite. Let's say for how I go. Cause and effect.
Opposite attract.
But it's a law. The cause and the effect, and the only exception to the rule is elasticity, in which case the effect is delayed. The law of elasticity is what it's called. That don't mean that you're going to miss out on your karma. That means that your karma going to take longer to come back because you're putting in more work, and then it's going to hit harder when it returns with the payout. It's the game of the gods. All this stuff we already know. But we playing dumb on purpose so we can live life as a mortal. The pauper guys, they don't have to be down there. They just know what the game is, and they're like, "Oh man, go ahead. I'm gonna leave my controller right here on the couch, so I'll go grab me a snack. I'll be back. Make sure you don't lose." They don't want to play the game no more, so they become pauper guys. Poverty is an illusion. Poverty is manufactured.
Damn, that's right. That's damn sure right.
Without interest rates, there can be no poverty.
Compound interest. That's what he said.
Compound interest. That's Babylonian money magic. The law of compound interest. It's in the Mishnah and the Talmud. Now, this take us to the source, the Khazarians.
Okay.
Right? Because the Khazars is the illegitimate children from concubines of the Moors who conquered Europe.
Right.
They put them in charge of banking and taught them Babylonian money magic when they converted to Judaism. You can look up the king, the Khazarian king that converted them to Judaism. That's because they were all born of concubines. Right? So they don't have a direct blood right to anything, so they put them in charge of the money so they can be still a part of the family. The Khazarians, in turn, recruited the Sephardi, the Spanish Jew. Right? The Spanish Inquisition was to get rid of the Moors in Spain, but it's being done by Sephardic Jews.
That's right.
They converts. You can look up the history of when they converted. They converted because it was a jihad versus a crusade, and they was caught in the middle and didn't want to take sides. So they converted to Judaism. Once they convert to Judaism, now they can profess to be Jews, but they not. They the synagogue of Satan.
Get them, Rod. Revelations chapter 2, Revelations 2 and 9, Revelations 3 and 9.
I know the works are not tribulation and not poverty, but you rich.
Yeah, you rich though.
And the ones who say they are Jews, they're not, but do lie, but are the synagogue of Satan.
That's right.
Okay, well, who was Satan?
Huh?
Where did the word Satan come from?
Go ahead.
in Arabic is Hashatan, right?
Yeah.
Right. In Hebrew is Shatim. But what is it in Kemetic?
Sit. Or Papas?
In Kemet, the word en, that means Lord, governor, controller.
Yeah.
Right? Now, in the front, it means past, heir to control. Like the right to control.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he would be en set. Now, if you go into modern mechanics, a set in is something that was not in the original sequence. You inset a new set in into the sequence in order to get something done. It comes in out of sequence, out of order. So set in is Lord set. The aftermath, the suffix in, is the Lord who claimed power. He took it. This is verifiable through the Holy Drama when Set slays brother Osiris and takes power. So Satan is Lord Set, who took power from rightful heir Osiris, but who dread the arrival of the son of his sister Isis, who is his nephew, who comes to become the father and replace him with a rightful heir. It's the story. It's a cyclic story. Keep repeating in every culture around the world, no matter what language it is, the cycle repeats. In India, it's the Ramayana. Ram, the heir to the throne. He get blocked from the throne because his brother don't want him to take power. Scared of him. But his other brother loyal to a fault. Right? They father wanting to take power, but he got to take power. Can't be submissive to being exiled from your own kingdom. You have to fight back. Right? So who do we get? He go get Lord Hanuman. Why he go get Lord Hanuman? Because he complete all tasks. He tap into his monkey totem. He got a task to complete. It's the same story. In India, in China, he's not Hanuman. He's Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. A terror to the gods. Who else was a terror to the gods? Nimrod.
Right.
But now you in Babylon. Same character, same story, different name for the player.
Right.
It's a Nimrod, the one the gods feared and trembled at his sight. How you gonna make a god scared? What kind of cold piece of work is you? The gods is fearing you.
Yeah.
But it ain't Nimrod, it's Rod them. Who is Rod them? My staff, my Rod and my staff.
Yeah,
Rod them.
That's fire. That's fire.
But all of the structure is there. The cycles repeat. All of this stuff they can call it ancient is still current.
Yeah.
Everything that was is, and everything is was. It's in different levels of decay because the cycles has been renewed. The more cycles we've been through, the further back it is in the strata of the timeline. And very rarely does something fade into oblivion, because when you get to the core, you get to the densest collection of the data. Then it all spring forth, and you can artificially do it through earth rights. I'm not going to get into earth rights because that's going into the specifics of how to perform the magic ritual. But the thing being, we're trying to get you to understand is that some of this stuff, we know it already, but because we chose to not know it while we go through it at this time, it's like walking through the house of mirrors.
Man, it's like
While you in the house of mirrors, everything look funny. But every mirror got a different form. And that's how you walking through life. And as soon as you see your reflection in everything else, you can straighten out the funny in the mirrors and you can see yourself in every shape. No matter how the mirror contort, you can know where you at all times, right? That's called balancing your equilibrium, getting your stability together. Let me get my feet under me. If your feet under you, you got to stand up straight. What's going to throw you off balance? If you rock from side to side, going to increase. The more you rock, the more off balance you get. So as you going through this crazy ass mirrors, if you let the images of yourself you see in the mirrors distort who you are and take you away from your center, right? So we say bump straight, stay on your center. And don't let stuff move you off your center. Stand on principle and values instead of philosophy and opinion.
Yeah, say hold your square in the Masonic order. Hold your square.
Yeah. If you say you believe in it, live by it.
Yeah.
But if somebody don't believe what you believe, don't expect them to live by what you live by.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get mad at them. Explain to you why you live like you live and why you believe what you believe. You might get a convert, or he might explain why he don't believe what you believe because he used to believe it before and why he got away from it. But you don't know without the conversation. You can't judge a person's character by what he believes. You can only judge his character by how he behaves. Because you got a lot of people that profess to be, but only a few of them that'll walk the path.
Right.
So you got to watch people's actions. They're going to show you where they at by what they do.
Right. Right. Hey, Rod. So, hey, we about 2 hours and a half. You got time to take questions from the crowd? Are you good?
Let's take 3 questions, Elder.
I will take 3 questions. Hey, y'all, I got Chief Cash App on the screen and his PayPal if you don't got hey, everybody, we had about 5,000 on tonight. Hey, we got about 15 visible right now. Hey, everybody send them $5, man. If you in the game now, you a real player and you want to put them all the way in the game, say, man, I like what Chief put down. Send them $100, man. Put them all the way in the game. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna really put them in the game though.
Speaking of donations, Al, I need you to ask you this in front of the public.
Okay.
I got donation information to donate to Brother Bobby Hemmett, and I wanted to do a short to tell people how to donate to Brother Bobby Hemmett, where he directly, not indirectly, get his donations.
Okay.
Because a lot of people have been claiming they're gonna help him, they're gonna help him, and then they end up getting his donations and living their life on them.
Dang.
You know, so we're going to get a direct source directly from Bobby in order for y'all that want to support him.
That's
he don't want to be seen right now because he's, you know, he said he did his part.
Uh-huh.
So he don't want, he say everything he needed to say has already been said until he come back out to say something different. Yep. He say, but if they want to know, then look at his tapes. He spoke for himself. Right. So we're gonna get his donation information, and I don't know, I might have you do an AI commercial for him.
Yeah, we could do that. I can do that. I can do that. That'll be fine. I can do that. It ain't gonna take but a couple minutes. If you just send me all the stuff, I'll give it to AI. It can just put it right together for a couple minutes.
We figure out something creative where people can, where I don't want it to be no middleman between his donations and him.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so that way nobody can't say somebody's stealing his money.
Yeah.
You know, because it's been happening. The same with Malachi.
Yeah.
You know, if y'all want to send Malachi something, send it to the ADX address until he get to a place where he can come home and you can send it to him at home. You don't worry about trying to get nobody any money for lawyers or to help Malachi. Send it directly to Malachi, and he can pay for it out of his account. That's the best way to do it, where he can control his destiny.
Right.
So all his children start to have him send it, because he can only have so much money on his books. Then he had to take it off his books. Anything over a certain amount, they're gonna give him a certain amount of time, and he can use that and for whatever. But I don't know what the amount is, because the feds is different than the state.
Yeah, I think the feds is higher, and it's higher number.
Mm-hmm. Well, people just some people just wealthy.
Yeah, it's millionaires in the feds and got $1 million. They still got their money because they didn't go for like a RICO.
Right.
Or something. Yeah.
Right. So like, they might have been a millionaire, but they didn't do nothing nefarious with the money.
Yeah.
They might have got caught trying to hire a hitman to kill their wife.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's Fed time all day long, murder for hire.
Yeah, straight up.
Right. So I don't know how much his cap is, but if he need to send it home, he got enough children who he knows supporting him that he can know who to send what. So we could just cut all of the middlemen out or trying to get anything to him by just send it straight to Bob. If you got a donation for Malachi, get his ADX and just send it to him. You don't have to write no letter.
Yeah, I got the address. It's certain things with that. Like if you send him some, I think don't send them like talking about like they really don't want him sending nobody really sending him nothing like talking about like stuff that we talk about, because it like get him in trouble. Some stuff get him in trouble. So I don't know. I might have to get with somebody on that. But I don't know about the money part. Like sending them, you can probably send him the money part, but like sending him a letter or something like that with some weird stuff in it.
Well, they only going to allow him. He got a list of approved people that can write him.
Yeah.
Right. That's by his JPay. Now I don't know if they still do letters in there or not, where you can write letters, because he used to get his letters.
Yeah.
I know a couple people used to write back and forth with him. So I know he used to get his letters that was written, and he would tell them there's certain stuff y'all can't write to me. You know what I'm saying? Don't write about this, don't write about this, and don't write about this. And then they go about their business. But yeah, he used to get his letters, get to read his letters. They just used to give him a hard time for getting mail.
Yeah.
They don't like when people in the street care for you. People in the street continuously support you, and you've been locked up 5-10 years. The administration don't like you because they think they holding a person that's possibly been mistreated, wrongfully convicted.
Right.
So they don't like you because it can be a liability to them if it's ever discovered. The fraud is ever discovered. It's a liability to them. Now they have to pay. So now they mad because you're there. So they give you a hard time because you're still getting your support from your people in the street.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got when York put a post up, one of these professors was saying that they pretty much think he was a part of the COINTELPRO initiative to neutralize him, and he didn't get a fair trial.
Oh yeah,
right.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So, but it's having somebody from the other side of the fence telling you the same thing we've been screaming
right
the whole time.
Right. You know what I think, bro? I think the guys that did Baba, these killer clowns, these Shriners, I think they on a certain, they call themselves nobles, and they on a certain level to where if they can rig a court system and they don't care if what nobody think. It's because they think they okay. He joined us, and then he violated our honor. He violated our oath. So that means that we gotta. He goes down. He suffers the penalties, all the penalties. So that's why they left. That's why they cut Doc off like that and pretty much violate. They didn't have no rules of character to protect his rights, and none. They didn't give a thing about none of that because they like, oh, he he brought a Balaam oath. We cutting him off. We want him to. He gonna violate. He gonna get the penalties. You know the penalties. They got barbaric penalties. They stomped Baba's toe. I think he's in a wheelchair now. Like Baba went in the wheelchair. They stomped his foot, and then his foot got infected. They didn't even give him. I mean, it's a long list of stuff that these guys, who these guys are, you know. But I think that these guys, after they figure like, oh yeah, he's a a potentate Shriner, and then he violated our oaths.
No, he didn't.
Well,
He
by
got it.
telling us.
Okay, now let me tell you from a secret society perspective.
Go ahead.
There's an exemption.
Okay.
The non-contracted tribes, meaning the outlaw tribes,
Okay.
can go into any lodge, and if they master their doctrine, they master their doctrine.
Let me write that down.
Right. It's a difference between a speculative Mason and a Freemason,
the
operative Mason.
Right.
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 The ones that's with the blood and the right, they can't interfere with their own pursuit of their education, and they're allowed to go into any if they got the blood.
Mm-hmm.
This is why he kept putting his genealogy up. That he was putting his shield in front of him. His genealogy, his bloodline was his shield, his protection. Right? But it's gonna come a point where if his work is valid, he had to wake somebody up to come later, which he told us 1,000 times already.
Yeah.
Right. He was telling you his time was limited before the devil tried to stop him, didn't he?
Yeah.
Right. And remember the lecture, The Persecution of the Leaders.
Yeah.
You've got to get rid of the leaders if you want to lead the people astray.
Right.
When every one of the tribes we got our own literature. Vice Lords got their own literature. Stones got their own literature. Right? The West Coast tribes didn't have literature. They had word of mouth OG calls. Right? So they standard is they communication with their OGs. They didn't use literature because they was following oral tradition.
Mm-hmm.
So the West Coast tribes was different in that regard. The Midwest tribes, the East Coast tribes all began to put stuff in writing. Why? Because they was using the writing to subvert us. The paper work was the paper chain. Their advantage was their ability to be able to use legalese to talk in our face behind our back. We hear them talking, we hear them speaking English, throwing these crazy words in here, and we don't know what the fuck they talking about. Right? Once we learn the legalese, now we able to translate it into the colloquial language of the mainstream public to translate what these devils been saying about us, to us, and in front of us, and we didn't know it until now.
Mm-hmm.
A translator comes.
Mm. And you know something I think too though, see Doc, like out of all the Masons, and I got more than one perspective on this, but out of all I'd talked to hundreds, if not thousands of Masons over my life, especially once I started learning their stuff. And none of them talk like Dr. Malachi Z York. And I know Dr. Malachi Z York was high up. None of them talk like Doc was talking. Like he was really, Doc was dropping it on us. Mm-hmm. Like the real deal Holyfield. I have never heard a Freemason talk with Dr. York talk. I have never heard no Prince of Hall, it don't matter what they are. I never heard a Freemason reveal the stuff that Doc revealed.
Because the ones that's contracted is sworn under the bloody oath. Remember that.
Yeah. Okay.
They under the oath of silence. Malachi wasn't under the oath. He wasn't. He didn't. He was supposed to. Everything he discovered, he was supposed to put it in the public domain. Only because he's not under the oath, right? The ones under the oath cannot put it in the public domain. They have to keep the secret. What is the secret, Elder?
Secret is us. When you sum
What
up,
secret? How are we the secret?
it's a long list of secrets in that secret.
That it might be a long list of lies to cover up that secret. But the reason why is because we rightful heirs to the land, and the reason they can't stop us from putting it in the public domain because we have to follow tribal tradition.
That's right.
They following the written tradition, and we using the tribal tradition in the written word by Malachi putting all of that information in the public.
Yeah.
He wasn't under contract to them. That's why they attacked him. Because he was causing the collapse of their system and he wasn't under their contracts.
And then not only that, he reactivated his father's flawless bloodline, that ancient mystic shrine, the Mahdi order. He reactivated. They had their own shriner. He had, man, look, I'm telling you. And then he revealed, like he subliminally revealed that this was land of Egypt, the land of Tamaray. He said, like, nobody was even saying the word Tamaray like that. Like, it was a lot. It was being said, but not like on a scale that Doc put it out.
Everybody else called it Tamiri.
Yeah, Tamiri. Yeah. Like, he put it out and that's one of the secrets that they hold. That's why they got that the Egyptian symbol with the sword over his head, because they protected the North Gate. They protected the national threat to us realizing who we are is a threat to national security. Us realizing we ain't black.
Only to the corporation that was masquerading as our government.
That's right. Go ahead, Rod. They trustees. Go ahead.
So when the George Washington Congress concluded, did we know what side of the river or side of the water we belonged to? Mm-hmm. And did we recognize the imposters on the land? Mm-hmm. We don't got to do nothing. Mm-hmm. They gonna do it for us. Mm-hmm. We told them that these $5 Native Americans was from over in Asia. Mm-hmm. We told them that already. They said we was crazy. Mm-hmm. Now ICE is just going there deporting them. How is ICE deporting them if they the real Native American? Right. If they're the real indigenous organic people of the land, they wouldn't even be considered under the ICE protocols if they have some legitimate value to the origin of the land. Yeah. They have no original ties. We already know that. We already told you that they taught, but remember, the ones that took sides with us ain't going nowhere. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The ones that took sides with the tribes of the land, they're not going nowhere. They're going to still be here. Mm-hmm. Right? But they're not going to be in poverty no more. And they're going to have a treatment for their alcoholism. Because they've been trying to keep them drunk so they can keep them under control and keep them quiet. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? So the ones that took sides with us, we got no problem with them. We got a problem with the ones that took sides with the enemy. Get their ass out of here before we do. I make a motherfucking the world's largest blanket with their scouts.
These guys, how they wiped out all those buffaloes, all of our food, like them buffalo. It was like millions of skulls. These guys,
mountains of skulls, literally. Right. So look, the bison's is making a comeback. When the tribes get restored, the Great Plains, anybody that is set up there, is they gonna have a means to lure bison to their farm. They're gonna be taught by tribes from the area when to harvest bison. They're gonna be tied to a family that live in the city. And that's how, because the grocery store is gonna be gone. Look, they just announced that wasn't gonna be no. Long as the government shut down on November 1st, won't nobody be getting no WIC. No, not WIC. SNAP.
Yeah.
Which is food stamp benefits.
Yeah.
Right, which is cool. Now, the reason why I brought that up is if you go on TikTok, there's a group of people on TikTok that's putting out videos saying that if they don't get their benefit, they're gonna raid the grocery stores. Does that sound familiar, Elder?
Yeah.
Remember, I told you to get closer to set down, they're gonna do what? Raid the grocery stores.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't just come up with that today. I've been telling y'all that for the longest, and now you're seeing people already making the public declaration to loot the grocery stores.
Yeah.
Right. You got Walmart's adding extra security gates to stop crowds specifically.
Yeah.
Right. Some of them are even putting sheriff's departments in the parking lot to secure their shit. But some of them, like, I haven't seen a lot of change in how Myers is operating to prepare, and I know they're aware.
Costco's doing something weird too at theirs. I saw that at Costco. They making a barrier.
I haven't been able to check Costco.
Yeah, I seen Costco. They got they building the whole thing like they're trying to keep people from breaking in, like a gate, like a pull down gate. Family Dollar's building the pull down gates.
Yeah, so
they pull down. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So when they loot the grocery stores, that's gonna be in the big grocery stores. That's gonna be the end of that shit. Now you're gonna have to tie yourself to a family farm. That's why Elijah Muhammad and Farrakhan, ever since the Nation of Islam been around, been trying to get farmland. They knew it was gonna come a day when you wasn't gonna be able to go to the grocery store and get what you need.
Yep, they got a lot of farmland.
So you're gonna need a pipeline. And the only way to have a pipeline is to have growers. And the only way to have growers is to have somewhere for them to grow. Farmers.
Hey, Rod. What I was about to ask you. Yeah. So do you think this new reset when the grocery stores shut down, and so that they don't care about mixing that money, because usually they like to get that Thanksgiving money, but the parasites that
we passed that now.
Okay, yeah, the parasites up out of here now, huh?
Yeah, we passed that now. If the people would listen and they decided not to loot the grocery stores, then you would be able to get 10 times the grocery that you can get now with the same amount of money.
Stuff solely is high as hell, boy. $100.
Yeah, but remember, we'll be right before the currency crash in any economy that ever happened. You have what they call inflation spike. Boom, that's the end of the currency.
Yeah.
Reset, new currency activate, price pump plummet to stabilize the economy and to normalize the people to their day-to-day activities.
Get people spending again. Yeah.
Right? It's an acclimation, attrition model. Gradually show them, gradually walk them through it. 48 laws of power. Preach the need for change, but don't change too much too fast lest they rebel. You can see it better that way anyway. Down when the processing, you can read it as they go, and you be like, man, this goddamn shit, ticker tape rolling so slow. I'm almost out of popcorn at this Truman Show.
Hey, so that 6,000 years deadline is really true, man, because they time, the way I see it, they time coming, it's wrapped. Like everything is like it's happening. It's that end. It's the end.
Yeah. So you first had to raise them up. First you had to create them, raise them up, put them in charge, and then kick their ass off.
That's what it said in Yaakov. He gonna come. He said he gonna the story they give us is some Superman shit, right? He say, yeah, he gonna create him, and then he gonna come back to after they kick y'all ass up and down the street, right? He gonna come back and get rid of him and show him that he a bad motherfucker. You know, he the baddest motherfucker. come on, man. Hey, man, it sound good though. He gonna come back and show him. Yaku said he gonna come back. Hey, he gonna show he a bad, but hey, I'm gonna tell you some funny shit, man. How Yaku was, cause I be astro traveling when I was writing that Yaku tricknology book. I astro back to see how he was and how his head was. His head looked just like they show it, right? But one incident I seen him that he was paying people to like do reenactments. Like he'll find the biggest guy in town. And Yaku will pay him. He say, I need you to want to make some money. He's like, yeah, I want to make some money. He's like, I'm going to pay you a certain amount of money, close to silver, right? And all you got to do is get on stage and let me act like I'm beating you up in front of everybody. And then, you're going to make the money, right? So Yaku get on stage with the biggest guy in town. Y'all making him about a couple 22 pieces of silver, whatever it was. He act like, yeah, see, he while he whooping the guy, he talking shit saying, yeah, you see, this what's going to happen to the next sucker and Steph the Yaku. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you see how I'm handling this sucker? You know what I'm saying? This jive turkey. I'm handling this jive turkey up here, right? He telling it like everybody like, Yaku whooping his ass. They really believe in it, right? But it's all Hollywood. And he gathered a lot of following like
Pro
this.
wrestling.
Yeah, pretty much. Said it, Roy. Let me write that down. They go. You said it. He gained. That's how he went around gaining his following. And then another tactic that he used, say like if you was out there talking to a crowd and you got a whole crowd listening to you, Yaku, he was so smart, he'll sit there and listen to you for a couple minutes, and then as soon as you make one mistake, he'll jump out of nowhere and say, "See, we got him." He'll jump out of nowhere, and then he'll explain the mistake you made, and then everybody will be like, "Oh, he right." And then they turn to Yaku. He still all your followers. And he still all the people that you was talking to. Yaku had a slick, funny method of getting his followers. He got about 59,000 followers. Mm-hmm.
It's a kind artist born in every era that's great.
That's deep.
Just let that sink in. P.T. Barnum says it's a sucker born every minute.
Yeah.
And the description of a sucker back then was a sucker was the one willing to pay $1 to be duped.
Dang. That's cool. All right, man. I think we got enough, Raw. Hey, we about almost going to be at 3 hours. Hey, y'all. Like I said, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Another one. Chief, we got Chief of the Builder, y'all. Another one. And like I said, I learned a lot on this, man. This right here changed my paradigm around, though. Now I got to research, do a whole nother. It's like I got to start from scratch, knowing that hey, these buildings were here. This empire was here. A lot of, and that's, we only showed a couple, but buildings in Philadelphia, Chicago, San Francisco was built up just like Chicago. San Francisco was built up just, and Queen Khalifa's castle, Alcatraz. All this was built all up, man, before they came a long time ago.
Look, we're gonna have to revisit the castles to show you what the prisons and stuff look like.
Yeah.
And I'm working on Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on doing something on him because I ain't sure he need to be in prison. So I want the people to be look at his situation from a fresh set of eyes as we walk through the Ted Kaczynski story, who he is and what he did, why he done it. Because why he done it was written, he wrote it in the manifesto. That's what they used to catch him. His brother Carter, the one turned him in.
Wow.
I don't want no brother like that.
Judas. Own brother.
Anyway, so most people preach the need for change. But when violence is the only available resolution to the destruction of the future, you can't be willing to shy away from it if, one, you telling the truth, two, you believe in the cause, and three, you know somebody got to do something, and ain't nobody doing nothing.
Right.
Right. So now you have to take it up on yourself because you can't see certain stuff and just let it go. There is no normal grown adult man that'll walk in on another grown adult man raping a child and don't whoop his ass automatically. Right. So sometimes the violence is required for what you're supposed to do with your life. Right. So I mean, the government use violence on us all the time.
Right.
Right. Police bust us in the head with batons, shoot us in the back, shoot our kids,
Right.
shoot our women, shoot our sons.
Yeah.
Right. So the government, they come in, they snatch our children up, put them in foster care, sell them on the black market. Yeah. Child Protective Services sell children on the black market.
Yeah. Sure do. That's what it was set up for. Well, it got infiltrated. It got infiltrated and turned into that. Yeah.
That's what it started as.
Yeah.
It got infiltrated to try to fix it, and they couldn't fix it.
Oh, okay. That's what it was.
It was always a child trafficking vehicle.
That's right. By the
Right.
by
So
the people
if you look at it like this, you need 10 children, you run into 500 homes and say, I lost 10 kids. Somebody gonna say nothing.
Yeah.
It's possible to lose 10 kids when you ran and took up children out of 500 homes.
Yeah.
10 kids can get lost. Now, depending on how many kids was in each one of the houses, anywhere from 3 to 8.
Yeah.
So you lost 10 kids, that's not a bad loss. So people accept it. It's an acceptable loss on collateral damage. And they put it out in the open so that you won't never know that they only needed that 10 all along. And they took the other 5,000 families' children just to conceal the theft of the 10.
Damn, that's cold, boy.
It's kind artistry. It's kind artistry. That's what they do.
They the best there is. Well, they ain't the best there is, but they pretty close.
Look, Child Protective Services had more arbitrary power than any agency in the country. They didn't need no court order, no judge warrant to have the police come in and take your child.
Damn.
All they needed was a complaint that they was acting on. That's it. And they can activate the police on their own without a judge.
Damn.
That's how you know they're illegal.
Yeah. This definitely illegal. Hey, we'll take this one question, Rod, and then we'll get up out of here. Somebody said anything about the chat.
Chattanooga, Ruby Falls Cave. I've came across it in some readings, but I don't know a lot about it.
Ain't that in Florida, I think? Or Alabama?
Chattanooga, that's Tennessee.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. Okay, Tennessee. It's like I heard of Chattanooga and Alabama, I think. But you know, all them names be native families that was that's over that area. Most of them names like that.
When they started we didn't use last name. We used tribal names, which is your nickname. Right. So when they start giving us tribal last names, they start using what we name stuff like rivers and creeks.
Yeah.
Like the word creek.
Yeah.
No, you got people last name Creek. They literally Creek Indians.
Yeah.
Right. And rivers. They might have been Mississippi River, Missouri River, Ohio River, Grand River, but whatever the river was, the Rivers family was from the rivers.
Right.
Right. So a lot of us end up with the names, even the tribes. Like majority of the tribes they mentioned today was named by the colonizers before they erased our identity.
Yep, that's right.
We didn't name ourselves a lot of that stuff.
Yep.
When we was saying we was China, they was calling us Choctaw.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now you got two different tribes spinning out of the mispronunciation of the name of the original tribe.
Yep. That's right.
Right. So I mean, we don't go too much into it, but they, in order to win the war, they had to make us forget who we are to the degree that we can't competently explain where we came from on the land. A Mississippi clay dirt walker. I can tell you where my mama bloodlines is from, where my father bloodlines from, old Mississippians. Right? I don't have to go into all that because I know who I am. I could just tell them, you got to prove I don't know who I am.
That's right. There you go, bro.
If I know who I am, you got to prove me wrong.
That's right.
If I tell you I was already here and show you where you land at, then you can't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I literally point directly to your lie and say, this is your lie. I didn't own it. You keep it.
Right.
Now you have to come with another rendition of the story without using the lie as the foundational point of reference in the debate.
Mm-hmm.
You have everybody using academia to tell the same lie under a coded set of scripts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not going to fall for it. I'm not going to participate in your debates, arguing what your scholars said. I'm just going to tell you lying. And you know I know that you the lying liar that lied about the lies you lied about.
That's right.
And you got caught. And I pulled your card on your lies. Now, the people beginning to see what Rod Hayes been saying all along. He ain't crazy. We was already here because when I went and asked my grandma, when I went and asked my uncle, when I went and did my lineage, and how was they finding all this stuff out if I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about?
Right.
Can't happen. People thought they was African American until they heard Rod Hayes, and now they realized that, hold up, that's some trickery shit, and I ain't falling for it.
Yeah, Jesse Jackson.
They went and did their ancestry and found out I was right.
Right.
And I ain't the one to say I told you so, because that's the last thing I want to tell you. If you don't want to believe me, just keep watching. You're going to see it all play out.
Right.
I'd be so sincere and I'd be telling the truth, even if it sounds like it's so fantastic I'm making it up.
Hey.
But I ain't making it up. It's real. None of this stuff is new. From the energy to the longevity, medical equipment, from the old systems that they found, repurposed and modernized for this era.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We had all that stuff already. Ain't none of it new.
Right.
The disease fighting, the chemical warfare, biological warfare, that shit ain't new. We did that in several different cycles. Because it serves a purpose for the goal of what the overall cycle was intended to do. Catharsis. And I'm gonna leave it at that, L.
Hey, well, we can get up out of here, bro. Hey, tonight though, I'm gonna tell you, man. So, like, we ain't gotta believe that we was over here in TPs and thongs with spears when they came, and we was all nice guys and retarded. Come on, man. Man, we was already ancient, we was like past what we at now. We were past what we at now before they reset us. Let's think about that, man. That's a hard pill to break. It ain't no hard pill to swallow. It's hard to break your mind around how they did us, man. It's just hard. But we cleared some of it up. We're gonna be back on that. We might do one on the castles, man. We got one on the castle. I'm gonna lock the castle one and the natural disaster.
The fires and the floods.
Yeah, I'm gonna lock them two in after the show. I think it was one more that you said. I got it written down that I'm gonna lock in, so it's like 3 tapes. But y'all hit that like. Like I said, if you want to show, hey, hit that like before you get out of here, y'all. And like I say, if you had showed Chief some love, we still got the Cash App on the screen. Man, set up $5. It ain't gonna bother you. It ain't you gonna spend that on some bubble gum and a Black and Mild or something and a cup of coffee. You know what I'm saying?
help us out here, man. Look, but like I say, we're gonna be back, and we're gonna keep you. I'm gonna be back to update y'all on the government shutdown. I'm gonna get more to what's all about to transpire, so we keep y'all updated on that. So we're gonna keep y'all in the loop on everything that's going down. It's all happening as planned. It's all happening as planned, man. It's the end of the parasitics, the parasites that's been feeding off us, keeping us in this fiat debt system. Their time is up, man. It's a wrap. Ain't Big Mama don't want to do business with them no more. Big Mama don't want none more of their business. You know what I'm saying? They don't do good business. They known for not doing good business. Everywhere they go. So Big Mama don't want no more business with them. We don't want to sign no more contracts. Run our goal and you know, kick rocks pretty much. You can kick rocks after that. You know what I'm saying? Kick rocks. All right, we out of here, y'all. Free the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z York. Like I say, peace to all the matriarchs on the land. Shout out Empress Rabbit. Free Larry Hoover. Free Jeff Fort. You know, the Air Rookie. We need the Air Rookie. We need Big Mama's Rook home.
Ooh,
right?
Man.
The Air Rookie, man.
Man, that'll make my day to be able to sit in go to Chicago and sit down with we'll sit down with Larry and Jeff. Man. And then you got all of the OG Vice Lords out. Benny leading them. And just to be able to sit there and just listen to them talk about the struggle. I don't even want to say nothing. I just want to sit there.
Man, them brothers gonna get out. Them brothers gonna get out, man. I think that they know in their mind they're gonna get out. I think Jeff Ford feel in his mind right now that it's some kind of way I'm gonna get out of here because I'm in here falsely. If I'm in here falsely, gotta be some way I'm gonna get out. Huh?
He know he finna get out.
Yeah, but
he know he finna get out.
Falsely.
Yeah.
This is war.
All right, everybody. I gotta get something to eat now. I'm getting home.
Hey, y'all. See y'all later, y'all. We'll be back. Wadu.
Wadu.
Never have it been made so clear.